Hello and welcome to the GameSpot UK podcast. We're live on Twitch TV and coming at you on iTunes as well. Lots of people waving around the room. So this is a new year. It's 2013 and it's an exciting year because loads of cool stuff's been happening. In fact, a lot of cool stuff has been happening today. But before we get to that, let's see who's in the room. So,
all right. Hi, Sarah. Sarah back again.
Sarah back again, and
Guy Cocker reporting for duty. Hello.
Hello.
Nice to be back.
Slightly more
It is nice to be back, but extra special guest today in the form of our brand new news editor. It's Martin Gaston, everyone.
Hello.
Man of legend.
Well
I
done,
get
well
to say
done.
my own name.
No,
I don't know.
No.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
No. Well, you needed an introduction. You're so
Fair
new
enough.
and
All
so
right.
awesome that we were like,
Fair enough.
you need to have your name
We'll let it-
said.
We'll let it go this one time.
So how is it in the world of GameSpot? You've been here like a week and a bit now.
Yeah.
A
The toilets have a very nice soap.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else. Like I have a weird smell.
No.
Yeah.
They used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the soap.
What you mean, like the fluffy pink hand
The
soap?
pink stuff, yeah. It's
Yeah.
just bright
Did you
pink.
not have something as fancy as that? Before?
Not as fancy, no.
No.
Yeah, it was
soap.
Yeah, it was good. We had good soap. We had good soap, but it's the colour that I'm quite smitten by.
Okay.
Right. I
Fair enough.
like if I'm going for hand soap though, and I'm in the supermarket, blue is.
Blue is
Blue's
the colour
good.
of choice.
Blue is the colour of clean. You
I
know?
think
Blue's
with those
usually the
ones-
antiseptic one, isn't it? Or the one that kills all the
They're
germs.
quite drying.
99% of
Drying
germs.
your hands.
Yeah.
You want to go for like a cream coloured, like almonds or something like that.
So you
nice
go-
and
so
soft.
So you go fragrance over hygiene.
Well, not fragrance, but like
Moisturising.
softening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moisturiser.
Yeah.
See, I've never understood
know.
that. Like, do you keep hand moisturiser? Just as a genuine thing.
No,
Right.
but
Where are we going with
no,
this?
no. I know that there's lots of my friends back home
Yeah.
that do that just like carry hand moisturiser around in their purse
More
in little bags.
frequently
And just
of late.
constantly doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
over the
get it.
winter, I've had very dry hands, so I have been using more than usual.
Right.
But I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan.
What's that doing to your hand moisturiser bills?
Skyrocketing.
Skyrocketing.
Well, to be honest, I've stolen quite a few whenever I've gone home because my mum's one of those people who has little, like, over by this sink, over by that sink.
Yes.
So you just pocket a few of those.
Wow.
Free.
Pro tip.
Bless
Pro
us.
tips.
Pro tip: steal
Life
from your
hacks.
parents.
Yeah, steal from your parents. Hotel rooms.
Hotel rooms are one to steal from,
restaurants,
though. To be
yeah,
fair,
yeah,
like
definitely.
I always walk back with at least a shower cap. You know?
On your head.
On my head, just walking out the
Straight out
hotel.
of
Yeah.
kitchen.
Nothing
Brought this
to
with
see
me.
here.
Not yours. That's why I'm wearing it. You know,
And a hotel robe.
and a hotel robe. I've never taken a hotel robe.
I haven't taken a
Slippers?
hotel robe. I've taken a towel.
Towel.
Yeah.
Towel's tempting.
It's a bit much.
Living life on the edge.
Yeah.
The last time I went to a really posh hotel, there were slippers and a hotel robe because it was one of those hotels.
Yeah.
But I only brought a tiny little bag with me because it was
Ah.
like for one night, and I was like, man, I should have brought the suitcase. It was loaded that.
Is
you
this
know.
conversation becoming legally questionable?
Yeah. It is. I was about to admit.
I'm saying I didn't do it.
Of course, we were all
Thought
joking.
about it. Didn't do it.
Boy, was I tempted.
Well, I have a bit of a sort of restaurant kleptomania about me, and I like taking
Spoons.
yeah, spoons or salt and pepper. The one that
I've done the pepper grinders was easy before because they're proper.
They're big.
Not the big ones,
As
the
you
ones on the
smuggle out,
table,
right.
like the little ones, but they're good. They're
Right.
sharp.
Right.
Yeah, they're better than the ones you buy anyway.
I
Sorry.
took a while about 2 years ago. I took some Jamie Oliver in his restaurants. I think just the Italian one, just
Yeah.
the basic one. They're like kitchen towels, so they look pretty good, and you can use them as kitchen towels. So I took one of those. Didn't feel so bad about it. And then Jamie Oliver was in the Guardian or Telegraph, some paper saying that he gets 30,000 of those stolen per year.
Oh.
So it's like a massive drain on his business. I mean, he's obviously doing all right still, but
Yeah.
it's a big problem for him.
You
So,
dick.
I know, I am. I
Wow.
admit it. I stole a couple of.
To make it clear, you just took two, not the full
I took.
30,000.
Well, it started with one. I did
Yeah.
take two. Yeah. But yeah. I'm sorry, Jamie, if you're listening.
Well, I tell you what, this has been enlightening. So what do we all get up to? Because we've not been on air since before Christmas
Since
now,
the
quite a
last
while.
Christmas
Yes,
mega
the
quiz.
mega news quiz.
The mega news quiz, which
I won.
which you won. Yes, well done.
I did terribly
You
in.
did terribly, and despite leading the leaderboards the entire year,
Yes.
effectively.
Yeah.
Well, I say the entire year, the 6 months we were keeping score.
Yeah.
Where's the leaderboard? I can't see it.
It's downstairs still.
Oh, okay.
I think we need to, or did we bring it up? I can't even remember.
It looks like it's over there and has been wiped clean.
Oh no.
Oh, no, wait, it's a new year though.
New year,
It's a new
new
year. We
board.
need a new board. That's
Fair enough,
fine.
fair enough.
We can wipe the board clean. So, what's been happening? What have you all been up to over your Christmas breaks?
In general,
was there any?
or
Well, in
gaming
general,
related?
was there any gaming?
There was a bit of gaming. I went back to see I was working right up until the very last day of Christmas. That was when you came in, didn't you? Dropped by.
We went for a pint.
Yeah, went for a pint during work hours.
Spirituous beverage.
Yeah. We came back and we had some
Had some cake.
Had some cake.
Yep.
Which was good. And then broke for Christmas. Went to see my family back up north. Managed to get a bit healthier. Did a bit of running, which was good. And then straight back into it last week with Martin. You guys were still extending your holidays all the way through January, living the dream.
3 weeks off, my
solid
friend.
weeks.
It was
nice.
amazing.
It was just me on Monday. No, Wednesday when we came back last week, because, well, you were in for about 2 hours and then left because you had I'm at workitis. And
Is this Mark or me?
you.
Me, yes, yeah.
like 2 hours.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. No, I came into work
And you
and was
had the
just.
ills.
It was weird. I had started to like sniff
I just
and
can't
cough,
be here.
and it was the worst because I've been fine all the way up through the holiday, and I had to sort of say I'm going to go home because I didn't want to infect anyone. I was fine the next day. It was
Yeah.
genuinely like I was allergic to work. It was very, very odd. It was strange, but I'm glad I went off. But yes, you held the fort. Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah, over Christmas I played and completed Lego Lord of the Rings.
Nice.
I've heard lots of good things about that game.
It's awesome. I mean, I posted on Twitter and I was like, yeah, this is so much fun. Buy it for all geeks. La la la.
Yes.
And someone was like, isn't it just the same game as before? Yes, it is the same game as before. And that's great.
Is it full of cute little Lego touches?
It is full of cute little Lego touches. I think I've talked about before how I was less of a fan from like Batman 2 onwards. Now they've started speaking.
Yeah.
Because they've lost like their little charming miming actions and stuff. But this one, it was really weird because instead of having original dialogue, it's the exact same dialogue as from the film.
Oh, okay.
So it's like the same actors'
Yeah.
voices. They've literally just cut up those
So
scenes.
it's Kate Blanchett doing her bit at the
yeah,
very beginning.
Frodo.
No way.
Yeah, it's really
That's
awesome.
actually pretty cool.
It's all right. I
like
quite liked it when they didn't have voices, to be honest, in
Yeah.
the old Lego games. Yeah.
But this worked pretty well, and it had this
that. That's the best impression of that I've heard.
Of Lego, yeah.
Yeah.
it had like the map of, oh god, Mordor and places and the
Whoa, you were
Shire.
about to lose some serious
Oh,
geek
my nerd
then.
points are
Right.
dropping. Yes, so they had all of that going on, and it's sort of like you play through like, each section. It follows the films, not the books,
Yeah.
which is great 'cause you don't have to deal with Tom Bombadil and all that rubbish.
It wouldn't. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for them to follow the books.
Yeah.
For that.
So you're kind of going through the major set pieces as each level, and then it's like you can kind of free roam around a sort of smaller version of that area. So when you go through like the swamps of scary things by Mordor, you play through that as a big level, and then afterwards you walk through it as part of the map, and it's just like a little swamp area. And within that, you can play the level again. And there's bits where you come across other characters, and they'll be like, "Oh, by the way, you know how you just went through that place? I totally dropped something when I was going through it." So you play through the level again to pick up these items,
Right.
like little fetch quests.
Right.
So this is basically Sarah seal of approval. Yes
it was
or no?
good, but yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
it was good. And then I played loads of stuff because I was at home with my parents. You lent me Epic Mickey.
Oh yeah, what did you think of that?
Why would you play that?
Yeah.
Why would you bother?
Why would you
No,
lend
the
that?
3DS.
3DS.
The 3DS.
Oh, 3DS
one
one,
that
sorry.
Yeah.
that we gave a good score to.
What was? Oh, I can't remember what it's called. Epic Mickey something something.
Power of Illusion.
Yes, that's it. It was
It
really
was Power
awesome.
of 2, isn't it?
Yes.
Because it's
That's-
Epic Mickey 2.
Oh.
You get it?
They got it. Nice.
So yeah, it was because I played Mickey on SNES, and
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
saying it's like the spiritual successor to that.
To Castle of Illusion.
Yeah.
which was one of my favourite games.
Yeah, oh, that's awesome game, yeah.
yeah.
So
Game Gear.
it was really good.
No,
They,
I played it on the Mega Drive.
It was on Mega Drive, I think, as well, yeah.
they kind of shoehorn in some 3DS-y type things. So when you're platforming like across the level like you normally would, in the other screen, in your touch screen, you can kind of see an outline of like the platforms as you're going across, but maybe it'll have a block that doesn't exist like in the world as you're jumping across it, and you like tap on it and you have to draw it for it to exist.
Draw
and
it
all that
in. Okay.
stuff. So it's kind of like they've shoehorned that in. I mean, I felt like they didn't really need that, but then if it didn't have that, people would be like, "Oh, it's just a Mario ripoff."
I don't really,
platformer."
to me, it's like with that sort of stuff. It's like, look, if it's not going to work, Just don't bother.
Yeah.
Just make a good game. Like, it doesn't matter if it doesn't have a touchscreen stuff. Ultimately, you're still playing it on a nice handheld with a nice wide screen thingy if it's on 3DS. So
yeah, I felt like they didn't really need it, and also because you get like points for how well you sketch out these objects so that they appear. And if you just do it with your finger because you're just playing the game, then you get really crappy scores. So I kept on using the stylus, and you have to kind of hold that in your hand as you're playing.
I did it with the stylus. I just sort of chewed on the stylus.
Yeah.
And then when it came to it, I'd just be like that, and then just sort of.
Yeah.
That worked for me anyway. I don't know.
It wasn't as bad as like Kid Icarus, which was this ridiculous claw hand.
the claw fist.
That hurt
Yeah.
a lot. That was not much fun.
Were you a big claw fister?
Well, you can't play.
Don't ask him that on his first time
I'm
out.
sorry.
Go easy.
In the right frame of mind, then yes. But that game was tough.
Yeah.
I didn't like that game.
That was last year, wasn't it?
It
sort
was,
of
yeah.
overlooked on, maybe not overlooked, but it wasn't a big appearance on our Game of Year stuff.
It was impossible to play if you were left-handed.
Right.
Everyone was bitching about it for ages. It's like, oh, come on, can we have a new Kid Icarus game? Please, can we have a new Kid Icarus game? And then the new Kid Icarus game came out and no one cared.
I don't know if no one can. I think it did appeal to the 3DS audience. It was just that thing where the control scheme didn't seem that well suited, like you say, to a lot of players, and it had the weird stand. And sometimes, you really needed to play it with the stand, but we didn't have the stand when we got our review copy in, and so
I found this system of kind of if you sit down and then you balance it on your knee.
yeah,
It's kind
of
works.
worked, but it didn't work as a portable game. I didn't think.
We should have done every time someone comes up with a stupid peripheral, we should do a Blue Peter thing and just
Make
try
your
and
own.
craft our own out of like toilet roll tubes and make a video.
Yogurt pots.
Awesome.
Yeah, it'd be great. Like, here, make your own 3DS stand out of, this.
I feel that
piece of
works for
string.
that one stand. Okay, I think that's an achievable goal.
Still not seen one. Is that one of those peripherals that
I
I'll
don't know.
never encounter now?
I reckon though, like if you kept it long enough in the original box, that would be worth a lot. Like,
Yeah.
A plastic stand.
yeah, totally.
Some 3DS collector
Well, no,
somewhere.
you've seen the crap that some people collect, right? I mean, it's true.
Mark Walton's official
Yeah.
Official verdict
official
there.
3DS
Stuff that people
stand.
collect shit.
Brand new in box. Mark Walton original stand.
£3.
Yeah.
Dude, when I'm selling that on like
Yeah.
eBay
Buy
3000 or whatever it's called, because adding 3000 something makes it futuristic.
Yeah.
And I get like bajillion dollars, which will be worth like
Let's just make
10
some
grand.
today. We'll have you do that later this afternoon. I'll flog them all tomorrow. 50-50.
All right.
By 50 years, the internet will have become there'll be so many niches that there's probably an auction site just for 3DS stands.
Oh,
that,
God.
Retail for
Wow.
like £50 a piece. So
Wow.
Leave it a while.
What
and
an
you'll be
exciting
rolling.
world
What
we
an
have ahead of
exciting
us.
world we
It
look
is
forward
it
to.
is an exciting world. So, Martin, did you play any games over the
Yeah.
Xmas period?
So I went into Christmas with the best of intentions to clear so much of that, celebrated backlog of games that I had missed. So, like, Walking Dead was on that list, XCOM was on that list, other games were on that list that I can't remember. What I actually played was Pokemon Conquest.
Wow.
Pokemon Conquest.
Over everything else.
Yeah,
you went
yeah.
Even though
Pokemon
that game
Conquest.
is
Awesome.
at best terrible.
Yeah. I played Pokemon Conquest, and
Do you agree with that statement that it's
I
terrible?
think it was between terrible and okay.
Okay.
Okay, so and I don't even know why. I think it was just there, and it sort of said play this. So I'm playing this for about, how long are we off? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I'm grinding up my little Pokemon army. That sounds really bad.
Oh.
I am leveling up my Pokemon army.
Pokemon.
And if you've probably not played, like, no one's probably knows this game. It's like, it's set in a period of Japanese history. You know how, like, when like other countries like do like English history, it's always that sort of like vague medieval era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's pretty much that time in Japanese history, and there's all these like warlords, and the game is about like conquering the whole nation, and because doing that will make this legendary Pokemon appear. Okay, so you have to go around.
Being a dick.
You have to build up your little Pokemon army, and then you fight them in like a turn-based strategy game. And when you beat the other team, they're like, "Oh, you've beaten me. Well done. Have my castle." So they've turned, and these are all like supposedly real like figures from like Japanese, like maybe like lore, or maybe I don't know the specifics, but I know that they're all existing.
Right.
In,
So they're historical figures.
Yeah.
Right.
And And so I like the way that they managed to.
I'm looking at the list of warlords on Wikipedia. There's so many.
Yeah,
it's like
you
loads
got to
of
fight all them
warlords
with Pokemon.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and they all have like one that they're good at. So one of the warlords might have. So he'll have like a fire castle, and so you got to think, I got to build a Pokemon army that
is like water. So
is the one that fire's not good on. So I'm guessing water or ice or something.
So
I'm not very good at this game.
Let me just get it straight, right? So you're fighting warlords, but they themselves don't have Pokemon.
No, they have Pokemon of a certain type.
Right, okay, so they do. You're not just
Yeah.
like fighting some dudes with
so is
swords.
it like, I'm the
Yeah.
fire warlord, here's all my
Yeah.
fire-based Pokemon.
So basically, they've made
Okay.
a grave error in Pokemon selection choices, because even like someone who'd played the first one would tell you need like a variety of Pokemon in your deck, and they don't do that. So you basically get
Idiots.
like 6 of whatever it is they're weak to, and roll up to them, and just like I'm playing this game all Christmas, like
Yeah.
Christmas Day, Boxing Day. I'm like, oh, maybe I should make a start on that like Game of the Year contender, The Walking Dead. I'm like,
No,
I don't know.
we've got another warlord to beat in Pokemon
Yeah.
Conquest. Yeah, I can see that thought process. You mentalist.
I finished the game on like January the 2nd.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, right, back to work tomorrow. Oh, I've not done anything else apart from play this. And
Well done.
hey.
I mean, I can sort of see the appeal. I mean, if you're there and you're like, man, I could be playing it and then be thinking, what other historical situations could be
Yeah.
changed via the addition of Pokemon?
Pokemon, yeah.
Exactly. Think
Well, I mean,
about
I've been
it.
working on my draft for, Assassin's Creed 3, the Pokemon version.
Do you think it would be improved by the addition of Pokemon?
It can't hurt, but like,
A
so
nice
that-
crossover.
yeah, so you'd get the English guys with their blue coats, would have no red coats. Jesus Lordy.
What are you
That was a
doing?
historical snafu. See, with the red coats, they'd obviously have fire Pokemon.
Yeah.
It works.
And
Oh,
then
it does
Ubisoft
work.
get on this.
It works for 2 sets of people, at least. You know.
What about, you
Me
get
too.
later in the day, there's military camouflage and stuff. How do you
Grass
think
type
about
Pokemon.
that?
Yeah, grass type.
Grass type
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Well, but they like the grass type Pokemon, so you would go for electricity.
Listen,
Yeah.
don't
No,
give all your
No,
ideas
fire,
away.
no, fire
Is it
gets
fire against
hurts grass type Pokemon. Yeah.
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
god, it's been so long since I played.
Yeah, of
We're going to
course.
need a course.
You
gotta
We're
learn
going
it.
You
on a
need to
course.
get ready for the new one, which I'm sure we'll talk about
X
later.
and
Which we will
Y.
talk about later. But so did no one else play Far Cry over Christmas?
I played a little
finished
bit
it
of Far
before.
Cry.
Oh, you finished it
Yeah,
before.
I was
You were on it.
mad keen.
I
for
came
Far
the
Cry.
hell out of that
Yeah.
over Christmas. That game is the
So
shiz.
cool.
Which version?
PC version.
PC.
It is
Um,
good,
I was playing it at home for ages, and then I took our Alienware laptop home, so I had to scale it down a bit, so it didn't look as pretty
No.
when I got to the second half of the game.
Hardships, man.
The hard, I know.
Life is tough.
It was tough. It was tough. But the weirdest thing was my mum kept asking me about it while I was playing.
Right.
She was
Right.
like, "This looks a bit violent." And I'm like,
Yeah.
Well, it's a little bit violent. There's some,
It's an 18.
there's some story to this.
Did you explain the story?
No.
There's
I didn't.
context to
I
these
didn't. And to be
boobs.
honest, when I got to the ending, which I won't spoil for anyone that's played it, but is terrible.
It's rubbish.
I was just like, wow, all that stuff I thought was awesome about this game is not awesome because that ending ruined it.
Oh, that's a shame.
And there were some missions in there like the stealthy stuff that wound me up
Right.
so
But
much.
you hate stealth.
No, but
And
it's
you
not
don't
that-
you
no.
don't
I'm a
like
fan of
force
stealth.
stealth.
I hate it in that game because it's an open world game where you
Yeah.
can go like 95% of the time. You're going around doing whatever you want and it's fantastic. And if you want to be stealthy, brilliant. And I even chose to be stealthy
Yeah.
sometimes when I was taking over some of the hut things. I don't know what they are.
Hot things.
Yeah, the ones with the red flags,
Yeah,
whatever.
the flags.
And then you beat it and it goes boom, boom,
yeah.
boom.
Yeah.
But there are some missions where it's like, you've got to go an exact certain way around.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll get caught.
I
And that's
found
just-
that in one
it's like,
specific one too, yeah.
that's not what this game is. Why have you just decided that you have to do that in this big open world game? There's absolutely no need for it. The mission
Yeah.
would have been better, way better, if you could have just gone through and found your own way to do stuff, and that's
There
what you
was-
do for the rest of the game.
We're gamers,
Yeah.
Mark. And we love arbitrary hoop jumping.
No, but it does jar in an open world when you're forced down a certain route.
Yeah.
And you have to do it in a certain way.
It jarred for me, and that sort of took the shine off. But it was still, brilliant game.
I think I know the one you're talking about because it forces you to take this path so I was going to the room, obviously I was like, well, what path do they want me to take? And I couldn't tell which path they wanted me to take because it was so dumb.
It's
Like
so
the way
dumb.
I would, if
Yeah.
it was open to like what I wanted to do for the stealth things, for like,
Yeah.
I'll distract them by doing this.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you literally just need to crouch and go this way.
Yeah, if you don't take that exact path,
But-
you just get killed.
Yeah.
And the sort of mission goal you're given is really stupid as well, because it makes you think that's not what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is stupid. Whatever, Ubisoft. Whatever.
Ooh.
You finished it now, though.
I finished it.
How long is it? Because I still need to finish it.
I finished it and I did all the
Outposts?
all the outposts, all the hunter quests, and all the ones where you have to hunt the dude, like just kill a guy with a knife. You know those ones?
Yes.
I forget what they're called.
They come up with like a symbol of a skull.
Yeah, they're next to the hunting ones. So I did pretty much all the
quests.
side stuff.
Right.
I can't even, it took me like 20 hours probably max.
Okay. So it's
wasn't
not like a massive investment.
No. It
And
wasn't
the last 4 story missions go by in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because
You have to play that section like all in one.
it peters out towards the end, suffice to say. It just
So
sort
if
of
you're
goes,
looking at the in-game thing, and it's like, oh, I got like 10 more story missions, you got like 2,
Right.
Yeah.
and then this like clump of quests that
Right.
just like rattles.
And you
through.
can just finish off the side missions after that if you want.
Yes.
Presumably.
Yes.
Cool.
Wow.
I'm gonna go back to it.
You're going to go back to it?
Yeah, I'm gonna finish it off. Obviously, it's sort of it was our Reader's Choice game of the year. So.
It is
Oh,
good.
was it really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
missed
finished. I
that.
finished Journey, which was our editor's choice.
Official game of the year.
I finished that actually. Upon release, because it's not a long game, is it?
No.
No.
It's, Far Cry's the big one.
Did you see an uptake in Journeyers when you played it?
No, when I played it, it was right around. It was actually pre-release, so I played it on my own. I haven't been back to it since then. But there was a real when we gave Journey our Game of the Year from GameSpot Editor's Choice. There was a huge uptake of people going back to Journey on the site and checking it out, and might not have seen it before or whatever. I mean, you're new to the site, but I assume you've played Journey, Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you broadly agree with that sort of verdict that it was Game of the Year for you? Or
I think it was a very good game.
It was a very good game.
It wasn't my game of the year, but
Right.
it was up there.
What was your personal game of the year?
Oh, you don't want to know my personal
Go
game.
on. If it's
Pokemon
Pokemon
Conquest.
Conquest, right.
done.
It's not Pokemon Conquest.
Let's just say it was. I'm happy to go
Is
with
it
that.
Mass
Alright.
Effect?
Mass Effect's close. Halo was my game of the year.
Halo?
Just 'cause I love
Oh.
Halo. Yeah.
Right, okay.
I love Halo.
I just finished Halo on the weekend, actually.
And what did
Didn't
you
you do
think?
a live stream of all the Halos?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
very
thought
exciting.
it was a great game technically. It just the thing with the Halo universe is that it sort of reached that point where no matter how hard I try to pay attention to the story, it just loses me. It's like it's almost like certain fantasy films. Like I like the Lord of the Rings, but it gets to that point where it's the thing in the Shire and the Thrilly Bong thing.
Yeah.
I just don't like lots of terms that I don't understand. And with this, it was just like the didact and the different character, like the character. I lost track of who was
No,
who.
I get that.
and,
I think
like,
one
I
of-
tried really hard to I could feel myself tuning out of what was going on, but
One of the biggest mistakes they make is that if you haven't like read some of the books, like there's this whole series of books they're putting out
Yeah.
to tie in with this new sort of Halo trilogy. If you've not really read those books and you don't really know what's going on, you won't know who the villain in the game is and why that's a deal.
Right.
Like, and so that is pretty stupid.
But from a technical, I mean, it sounds stupid. But the thing that left me that I remember the most was just the architecture and the visual design of that world is incredible.
It is. It's hard for me to talk about Halo in a way that doesn't sound like a big Halo fanboy. But yeah,
Right?
Yeah, that's
But
all-
it's fine.
but,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
That's all
all about
stuff.
like you're a big Halo fanboy. you know?
and I think the reason Halo 4 works so well for me is because, like, if you go back to the anniversary edition they put out the year before,
I think.
I didn't buy a lot of what they did in terms of updating it.
Right.
I didn't like a lot of the stuff they chose to change. Like, I think a lot of the stuff they were just putting in to make it look like bloomier. And like, oh, here's a new graphics technology, bam!
Right.
Like they had artists that were just like layering stuff upon things for the sake of making it look whizzier and more modern. Like I think they lost some of the spirit, especially in the Forerunner stuff, like in the library. I think if you play through that on the new one, the feel of that place is so much different to how it was the first time we played it, like 11 or 12 years ago. But I think in Halo 4 they retain a lot of the feelings I had in the first game, whilst also updating it to look really nice. And so that, as someone who like cares about stuff like that in for Halo, that went down well with me. But,
Right.
and also it had like big explosions. And
It had mechs in it.
Yeah, and I thought that level was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was a bit worried about it because it was like a big sort of walking death robot thing, and I was worried about that. But I think it's good.
They did a
I
great
like
job with
Halos.
it.
I like
definitely.
Halos.
Yeah.
I can play Halo all day. I have literally played Halo for all day. Like,
How are they doing with the Spartan Ops stuff? Because that's the stuff.
that is not good.
right. That's a shame. That is a shame.
It has
Spartan Ops are the
potential.
weekly updates, aren't they? The story updates. Are they
Yeah,
weekly? I think
they're not weekly. They come out in drips and drabs. It's just a lot of the missions. Like, it's a nice idea. The idea is that like you play every couple of weeks with your friends, and it's sort of this unfolding TV style storyline, which on paper, like I like. I'm like more games.
And it's free as well, which is good.
The first season
First
is
season's
included.
free.
Like whether they do a second season, I think is debatable. Like I'm not sure they will, but they're going to announce. They're going to have announced it now, aren't they? that's
Yeah.
the time they'll announce it. When I say that, there's just it just doesn't quite work. Like the idea is nice, but the execution leaves a lot to be desired. Like a lot of it's quite repetitive. It spikes, so it gets good again, and then it sort of loses it a bit, and you get the feeling that there's some potential there, but they're just a bit confused. And I guess because it's not new, but it's a new sort of idea
Right.
Yeah.
in a way. Like I'd like to see more game because it's a nice way of making so for a game that has co-op, I'd like to see them do something like that more, and less of like making a deathmatch mode that no one will ever play.
Yeah, or a new set of maps or something.
It works better for me than just being like, hey, we got this team deathmatch mode, or like another horde mode, which, like, when was the last time anyone got excited by?
No, I mean
Everyone's still doing it though.
Gears of War 2 Horde mode was amazing because we played it to
That
death.
was when we first. That was the first ever Horde mode. I think,
Yeah,
wasn't
and
it?
we were. I mean, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
because we
Yeah.
just caned the hell out of it and had so much fun. But then after that, it was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sort of. I mean, I go Left 4 Dead actually works in that
yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Left 4 Dead sort of stuff, which we need to play again.
Yes, we all got into that for about a month, and then it all fell apart.
Well, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. We need to get
that was
more Left 4
good.
Dead
We'll probably
in.
have to live stream it though.
You have to. It's the law.
It's
True.
the law.
You
We
gotta
must
live
live
stream
stream
it.
everything.
Live
Sorry.
streaming
Life in a
the world.
banana. Live stream.
Well, there is one game we've just got in recently, which I'm really keen to live stream, which is that 3DS game.
Oh, what's it called? Hold on. I've got it in my email. Can you remember what it's called?
Uh,
Something Assault, isn't it?
Something the one where you
Something
basically the one where you
End
throw
purpose.
Japanese people at other Japanese people.
You're so
What?
keen
It's
to play it,
just-
you can't remember the name of it.
No,
essentially.
but you don't need to know the name of it to know that is mental.
You throw Japanese people at
other Japanese people. Like they're color coded, so it's a bit like Zuma. Martin was saying, which is basically what it is. But they're like little Japanese people, and then you have to color them and you throw them. But if you mess up, there's like loads of weird animations that come on
It's
screen.
called Tokyo Crash Mobs.
Tokyo
Is that
Crash
right?
Mobs,
Tokyo
yeah.
Crash Mobs.
This game sounds
yes.
dark.
So this was announced in
Shiny.
the last Nintendo Direct thing they did.
Turn off the audio on here.
And it was. I remember seeing it and thinking, they're actually releasing that outside of Japan. You mentalist.
I'm on a rival video game website right now. Just looking at the video. I'll show
But,
it to mine.
But yeah, it just looks amazing. I really want to live stream it. I just think
Yeah.
it'd be brilliant.
Yeah, you essentially
live stream
there's
in
lots of
3DS?
different colours of. Yeah, you can live stream it in 3DS.
Yeah.
There's a woman coming to Earth. She's throwing ninjas at Japanese people. It is trippy as hell, isn't it? It really
Wow.
is.
This game,
This is the thing. I want a couple of us to do it, but just not allowed to play it beforehand. I want to
just experience
I
it
want to get
fresh.
Danny in as
Danny-
well.
Yes.
And
Danny would love it.
just be like, Danny, play this.
there's these two ladies, and these little signs coming out that are like, yay!
It's
Well, they're happy they've been thrown, or because they're throwing.
I think they're supporting throwing. I think they're
Okay.
just
Yeah,
like cheerleading on the side, just
And a
good
fine
throwing.
job they do.
I love those sorts of games. There should be more of those. Just what the hell is this game?
Yeah,
You know?
unfortunately they're not Call of Duty, so no one buys them. So
That's true.
that's a shame.
But it is apparently available. Will be available.
It
on
is.
the-
Yeah, we got code. So
on the 3DS eShop later this month.
let's live
So
stream that. Let's
We're
live stream
doing
that.
it. We're doing it.
Sounds amazing
It's going to happen.
and really offensive.
It is. There's, in fact,
In a good way, maybe.
there's other live streaming happening this afternoon. We'll get the plug in now.
No, actually, we just got the email. We just got the email. We shot down. It's going to be later this week, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, they'll be live
We can still
streaming
say-
later this week.
You can still say what it is.
Of Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
DMC, actually.
DMC, sorry.
DMC
Colon.
colon Devil May Cry.
Devil May
And
Cry.
capital D, lower M,
Yeah.
capital
Okay,
C.
So it's Devil May Cry, Devil May Cry. It's
That's good.
Right.
That's a good way of looking at it. I hadn't thought of
That was very pedantic of you all. Thank you very
It
much.
is the most
That's what happens when you have to write about games. You remember that Little Big Planet is all one word.
Yeah,
So,
that does annoy me actually.
Yeah.
So I'm actually reviewing DMC colon Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry, Devil May Cry.
You're,
As it has to be referred to from now on.
But you guys, you're going to do live stream. And, and stream it up and show
Yeah.
us some cool
Stream it up,
Devil
stream
May
it
Cry
down.
moves.
Stream it
Back up
everywhere. Can't control the streaming.
It's going to be good. It's
Yeah.
going to be good. And I'm pretty sure Danny's got a bunch of live streaming stuff planned.
Danny's
Loads.
live streaming
He does.
everything.
Yeah.
He is.
He's
yeah.
live streaming the history of games to the internet. It's going to be crazy.
So if you like live streaming this week, Twitch people, that wasn't the right camera, right?
Right,
even
you don't
know
know,
where-
I like the finger though.
I can't even
It's
tell,
like
I
live
can't even tell.
streaming.
No, that's bad, man.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hard.
Okay, so it's probably time for the first news quiz of 2020.
Are we doing a news quiz?
We are doing a
okay,
news,
we're doing a news
We're doing a news quiz this week. Okay.
Guy poked up immediately when that.
Come on.
Okay. So.
I feel, can I just put caveat in here? I think that Martin has an unfair advantage because he's a news editor.
You
He writes
do,
the damn
which
news.
means I'm going to make these harder from now on, or
What, for me or for everyone?
for everyone.
So I still have the same advantage.
The best thing about this is the people at home will probably be able to see this.
So they can join in.
So
Join
that I
in.
can see it
Yeah.
on the
Are you
live
doing a
stream.
Schofield?
Oh
on
yeah,
that list.
I am doing a Schofield right now.
It's weird actually from this angle that I'm looking at. I can see you guys, and then occasionally, depending on the camera angle, I can see you guys behind you. It's like looking into an infinite mirror. Of crazy weirdness.
Oh, I
It's
like
The
that.
Drost effect?
Is that what it's called?
I think that might be
Very
it,
good
if I'm
knowledge.
Well, it's a
pronouncing it
fancy
properly.
word, so I'm going to go with it.
Very good knowledge. Can just interlude as well. Just Sarah, you're on Twitch, aren't you? You're looking at the comments.
Yes,
so-
I'm looking at comments. We'll be doing feedback,
feedback
at the
later,
end, so I'll try and scroll back, but I'll
If you,
probably
if you
be-
see anything crazy, do
Yeah.
shout out.
Will
But,
do, will do.
Or coherent.
Or coherent, or whatever. You know.
Family-friendly craziness
In the interim,
for the whole family.
question.
You know it's going to be filled with complete, just horrible blue
Yeah.
language now. Anyway,
Blue.
carry on. Blue, yes.
Oh, he's blue. Question
Water-based.
one. Name the 3 new Pokemon in the recently
Oh,
unveiled
God,
Pokemon X and Y.
Literally forgotten all three of them.
Martin has,
Get
no,
points.
Martin has no excuse because he wrote
were
the
saying
story.
that-
Fennekin.
Okay, you get a point for everyone. So if anyone else can jump in, Fennekin. that's one.
Peekaboo.
No.
It's something
Peekaboo.
like Frogger.
Yeah. Frokin.
Frobisher. No, it's
No,
Frobisher.
not
No,
Frobisher.
they're close.
Frogie.
Frokin.
What did you just say?
Froggy.
No.
Frokin. Froger.
No.
Frog thing.
No, but
Frogman.
you were almost there the first time.
Froggy kittens.
She gets a point, I think. She's closest.
She's just saying frog.
You're just saying frog with. Was that? Was that? Oh.
Oh!
Very good.
Um,
Yeah.
Mark's the ball.
I'm the Pokeball.
Frogger.
You're capturing everyone.
Frogger. No, it's
Frogies.
that's close enough. It's Froakie.
That was
Froakie.
near. That was 9% there.
Yeah, 90% there. That's fine.
You don't get
Right.
points.
Yeah,
for
you
that.
do get a
Nine
point.
of
That's
a
a point. That's a point for each of you. Guy, you don't have a point. There is
I'm
one
really
more
sorry.
left.
Wait, Guy,
Parsnip.
should we not be looking at the live stream?
Parsnip.
I don't know. Maybe not.
People are giving us
actually.
the
Yeah, I'm
answers.
not on the. I'm not
There's
on the
something.
live.
There's something like.
Yeah, don't answer
So
for him.
we've got the fire one and we've got the water one. There's the grass one who's got like. There's an S in that word. There's an S in it.
Is there an E in it as well?
Could
You're
be,
getting
could
points.
be.
All right, so
remember
you've got
looking
2
at
of the letters. There
There
are
were the
4
French
letters left.
version.
Okay.
It was like Marcel or something in
Marcel.
French. I swear.
I love it.
It's
not a
not
Pokemon.
Marcel.
I was like,
All right, I'm gonna have to cut it off
Pierre.
there. No one knows. No one knows. It's Chespin.
That's what
Chespin.
Chespin.
Because in my original draft I had Chesney Hawks, and
and Chesney Hawks.
then I had to double correct.
Chesney Hawks would make a good Pokemon.
They're always one word though.
Chesney.
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 Or Hawks.
So this is the recently announced Pokemon X and Y, which Martin is going to tell you about now. He wrote it. This is a test.
Can I just say as well? I went to the dentist this morning. I had a filling, so I got to the office late, so I missed this news story. Also, I don't care about Pokemon, but yeah, excuses.
You came in plenty of time for us
That's
to just
true.
make noises about Pokemon.
It's in
2 hours.
3D, guys.
I know.
3D.
And I saw the amount of like interest. Pokemon is like this dormant monster that's just like people really
Call it a
care
monster.
about. Sorry, a great monster that everyone loves. Pocket monster. Yeah. There we
They're
go.
Pokemons.
Anyway, tell us about the story. Sorry, Mark.
So they've been teasing this announcement for a week or two, and they done today over Nintendo Direct. Pokemon X and Pokemon Y.
It was Mr. Iwata, wasn't it?
It was.
Was he wearing white
as
gloves?
always.
Or is he-
No, you couldn't see his hands.
Okay.
They were
In a creepy-
firmly
in a creepy
firmly
way,
down
or-
by his side, like they just did not
Yeah.
move. You know.
You couldn't see his hands, and you also couldn't see his legs, and anything below the waist. So
Anything could have been happening.
Interesting. Okay.
all I know is he's very excited to announce
Okay.
a new Pokemon.
And it's X and Y.
Pokemon X and Y. It's the 6th generation now of the sort of the mainline Pokemon series. It's a 3DS game. It's got a new 3D world.
Yeah,
In
that's
3D.
It's the most exciting part is the new art style, which
Yeah.
Pokemon's pretty much been stuck with flat 2D for forever. So
And the camera's not. Cause old Pokemon has that overhead camera. The new camera looks a bit closer, a little bit behind the character, a little bit
more
more.
third-person-y sort
It's
of.
a lot more third person.
Yeah.
Whether it changes, I imagine. Knowing Nintendo, there's definitely at least one bit where there'll be the overhead camera because it'll be like, oh, this is how things used to be.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that-
they
I'm-
like doing that.
I'm
don't
just
they?
catching up on this story because I'm genuinely
Yeah.
haven't seen much of it this morning. It looks almost Professor Layton-esque. Is that right? Is that
There is a touch of cell shadedness to the graphics,
Yeah.
a bit, I think.
okay?
It would make sense to do that.
That was
you
more
know.
of a question, really. Is that have I got the wrong impression here?
And it's coming out for the first time. They're gonna do a global release date.
Yes.
That's
gonna
good.
be
That's good
huge.
news.
October.
Yeah.
isn't
Not
it?
all countries, but I imagine the usual.
Japan,
Europe,
America,
Japan.
and Europe.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it looks nice. I'm just watching the trailer on the laptop. I'm not cheating on the news.
Yeah, no cheating.
Yeah, but it looks pretty nice. I think you reviewed Black 2, didn't you?
No, I
No?
did black and white 1.
Okay.
Ashton did 2.
Right. So one of our freelancers did that, and as you noted in the news, it got a 6.5.
Do you get a
so
6.5?
I think
hopefully
the
this one
most
will be better.
important thing, though, is how is each character going to say their name?
What do you mean? Sorry. What?
Well, like Froakie, like Froakie.
Broken.
Oh, you were trying to do this
Broken.
earlier. Go on.
Broken.
What are they
Well,
called
that's fine.
again?
Pokemon.
Hang on. No. Okay.
What is this? What
Okay,
is this?
so Frokey's a frog, so he's going to be. Well, you can do Frogey the best.
Broken.
Yeah, okay.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Fennekin.
What's that one look like?
Fire.
Fennekin's a bit
deer.
more elegant.
That'll be
a
more
bit,
like Fennekin.
yes, a bit more feminine.
I'm a
Fennekin.
fire deer.
Yeah.
Okay, and finally,
Chesney.
Chespin. Chesney.
What's Chesney Hawk?
Chesney.
Chesney only.
Ches.
Chespin.
Chesnip. What is it?
Chespin.
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 Chespin. All I can think of is Chesney and Parsons. That's all I can think of.
So we are available for voice recording.
So there you go,
Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Yeah. Reasonable rates.
All right, so question 2 then. PC manufacturer XI3 has announced a modular grapefruit-sized computer designed.
Grapefruit size.
This is
That's
saying
the term
from
they use.
this is the
Alright,
term.
fair enough.
Designed around Steam's TV-focused big picture mode, with Valve itself investing an undisclosed amount of money into the company. But just how many ports in total does the prototype device have? I will take best guess. 6. This is input and output ports. That includes everything. Display
It's quite
sockets.
small. I mean, it's grapefruit size, as we just
Yeah, it's
heard.
grapefruit size. So you would think, probably not that
I
many.
reckon Martin's going to get this right.
My computer is about 3 pineapples, 6 bananas.
It's a whole fruit shop, isn't it, really?
4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
I would
Yeah,
go
but this is small. It's like
Yeah, it's
it's
small, isn't it?
Okay,
I would go
17,
more like 12.
12, 17, and
6.
you're going to stick with 6.
Well, I'm obviously wrong, so I'll go.
So the answer
I'll go
is
10.
which means
Oh,
Martin
wow.
gets
What?
another point.
Yeah.
19
How have they
I saw the
That-
picture of it, like
Right,
the
hang on a
hand.
minute.
It's
How
got
is it?
loads of ports.
So it's 4 USB 2.0
I think it's
ports.
all around
Great
all
ports.
edges.
No, it's only on one side as well. So it's 4 USB 2, 4 USB 3, 40 SATA ports, an Ethernet port, audio in, audio out, optical in,
SPDIF.
or out even, SPDIF,
SPDIF, yeah.
2 mini display ports, and 1 HDMI/display port.
Yep.
That's a lot of things.
There you go.
That-
All on there.
I'm looking at the image. I can't see the ports on it though, sadly.
How did that compare to the ports and stuff for your Steam box that you
There
made?
are actually more ports on this.
Yeah.
So, so this the interesting thing about this. So this is the thing that everyone's going on about. It's like, oh, it's a Steam box. Valve have partnered with them to do this. Not officially yet, but they have invested in the company. But I think the interesting thing about it is that the model that they're saying they're going to base it on costs $1,000.
$1,000.
And the thing about this thing, having looked into it, is that there's no way to put a discrete graphics card in there at all. So it has to use the one that is built into the CPU, which is really limiting for games, like really limiting. The Intel one's not great. The AMD one's better, but you're still not going to be able to do like proper, full-on hardcore gaming. And for $1,000, I'd want to,
Yeah.
So when I read this story, it seemed as though this was. Is this the big thing, or is Valve still going to do its own? Do we think at this stage? I mean, it just didn't seem like it was a big. It seemed like it was a bit of a whimper when it came out. It just didn't seem like it was as big a thing as I was expecting.
I don't think Valve's going to announce. Like my theory is, I don't think Valve personally are going to announce like a big Steam box in the way that Microsoft will announce an Xbox.
Right. Okay.
Like I think Mark disagrees slightly. I think he's got a different approach, but I think they'll. Like I think it'll be more like like Steam box capable or Steam box certified.
Right, sure.
And it'll be
That
like
makes sense.
a set of specs that everything has to hit.
Yeah.
Something like how you see more like Microsoft doing with tablets, or like the Android style thing where you get that sort of basic set and then other manufacturers can take it, build their own.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the problems Valve might get in the hardware space is they've not made any hardware. They don't have that they don't have that distribution network.
No.
They are a very small company. So it would make sense to me if they actually just make like the bare bones stuff, make that kind of stuff, and then the other hardware companies obviously have all that stuff in place. They have the factory lines, they have the ways to get these things made and boxed and shipped. Well, they make them.
Sure.
For me, though, I mean, it's you're absolutely right. They don't have that hardware clout, but there's nothing stopping them from partnering with people like Microsoft did with the Zune. I think they got Toshiba to make it. I know it wasn't a success, but that was because it was terrible. But they could partner up and get something really well made. And Valve as a brand, I think, is really powerful now. On the PC side.
Absolutely,
it's huge, and Steam itself, so I think there's potential there. For
I
them
can
to
see
do
what
something.
Martin's saying, though. It would basically be like, Nexus. Like, it's made all
Yeah.
by different manufacturers.
I guess it's because in my mind,
Yeah,
like
you can think about it
Valve
like
always
that.
been quite open.
Yeah.
Like they've never the whole thing about Steam that they've always preached is that it's not for a closed platform, other than of course Steam, the closed platform
But then,
Steam.
but then
but
this,
like,
if it's based on this hardware, then it wouldn't be either in theory, because you're dealing with a piece of hardware that is expandable despite its size. I mean, that's part of the design of this thing, is that it's modular. It's like a motherboard split into 3 pieces that you can split up and change the processor or do whatever, which is cool.
Did you say it was going to be $999?
So so basically there's 2 models.
Right.
The high end one is the one that they were saying is rumored to be the one Valve is looking at to be specced out to be Steam compatible.
the only site that's spoken to someone directly for this or had a chance to do it at the moment, I'm sure a lot of other sites are going to be trying to get interviews
most
as soon
definitely.
as possible. But Polygon spoke to them, and it was the marketing director,
Right,
something.
director dude.
Yeah, he spoke, and he hinted that it would be based upon the top level device, which I forget the thing. It's
X7A.
X7A,
And then X5A retails for $500.
Yeah, that's the one. $500 one. That one runs Linux.
Yeah.
Which, if Valve were to do a specific piece of hardware, they would probably
Would do Linux, yeah.
But then that
Wasn't there a rumour of that?
Well, yeah.
That was the rumour. Yeah.
was the rumor. So I mean, it's a really interesting move, and we'll see. I'm really keen to see what happens here.
Yeah, so essentially what I was expecting was maybe a little bit more clarity about, essentially the idea, which is very exciting to me on a personal level, is that you will be able to put this under your TV and then carry on your game of Dishonored or Dirt or whatever it is that you're playing on your PC and on your TV, which is great. So if it is at the $500 mark and I can do that, for maybe £300 over here, that's actually more attractive to me than getting a next-gen console.
Yeah.
So.
Well, someone else has got a very different take on that, and that is Nvidia, who announced a new portable Android console dubbed Project Shield. Yeah. But how many cores does the Tegra 4 chipset that powers the device have? I will take it to the nearest answer again.
Oh, God.
720.
No, that was
the grid thing, wasn't it?
That was grid.
Yeah,
that was
we're not talking grid.
720.
This is the brand new mobile processor.
72.
Seb, that is cheating.
Seb?
He didn't know. He just nodded at me and said, "I knew," and I looked deep into his eyes.
And then Guy said 72.
72. I think I knew it in the deepest recesses of my weird brain.
What Guy said.
What do you? I mean, should we
Seb
give
nodded
Guy
at
a
him.
point here for that?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Can we give Seb the point?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to give a point to Seb. For
Honestly,
72
Seb,
euros.
did you mouth it to me?
You did. All right. So Seb's on 1 point. Guy is still on 0.
Oh,
So,
I totally guessed that. I'm robbed. But is it 72?
it is. It's
Oh, nice.
72 cores. It's based on the Cortex A15 chipset. So this is what they're calling.
There's always going to be a division of 4, isn't it? So that's how cores
That's how things work.
I think.
No,
No.
not at all. You can have 3 core processors.
PlayStation 3 has, I think its cell architecture has 7 cores.
AMD sell 3 core processors. They sell the ones that they're 4 core processors where one of the cores doesn't work, so they sell them as 3 cores. That's great. It's a genius idea. Why not? Otherwise, you throw them away. Just sell them for less. Anyway, this is an Android-based gaming system that looked like someone sellotaped a screen to the top of an Xbox.
It
It
kind
does
of
look
clam
like that. How does the
way.
clamshell close onto the controller when it's got those thumbsticks?
So the
But they look like
thumbsticks
they're
are
kind of-
recessed,
yeah.
and they're more like the the 3DS one.
Oh, okay,
That's
yeah,
a bit
yeah.
like it's
That's
not
a bit crap, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're more
Kind of flatter.
It's flatter, although I've heard they sort of still rotate like thumbsticks. But anyway, so it's like this weird sort of old school
It did look really
Nintendo
horrible.
like DS whatever. The clamshell, but it plays Android games is one of its things. But the big thing is that it streams games from your home PC, provided it has an Nvidia 6 Series graphics card.
The old
Funnily
Kepler.
enough, the old Kepler, old Kepler in there. If it's got one of those, it'll let you stream games from that to your tablet, whatever the hell this thing is, and play them anywhere in the house.
Yeah, it's a new category, isn't it? It's a
Handheld-
controller tablet. a
Handheld
conroller.
controller tablet streaming device.
So when you say you can play Android games on them,
Mm-hmm.
is that all just stuff? Do you think through like the Google Play
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Store?
absolutely.
Or
Everything, yeah.
is it so like lots of the stuff I've been playing on my Nexus is things that I got in a Humble Bundle. So you're kind of installing them more like manually.
No, you can play. It works exactly like any
It's a
Android
touchscreen-
device.
Okay.
Touchscreen device.
It's got a multi-touch screen on it, so if you wanted to play Angry Birds on it, you could. You can install stuff like GTA and use a controller with it.
Yeah.
It's also going to have a curated store. So there'll be like a Project Shield or whatever they decide to call the store
here are the best
specific.
ones,
Here are the
yeah.
best ones from Google or Google Play that are going to work with
Yeah.
this or optimized for the controller or whatever.
Because I think like things like all the Humble Bundles have been really awesome for Android gaming because it lacks so far behind all the awesome things that are in the iOS store. But these you can get for lovely prices and give money to charity and whoever.
Yeah.
But you also, get to play them, which
Play
is nice
awesome
for
games.
once.
Yeah, I mean it's. It's a weird thing. They demonstrated this with Need for Speed, Most Wanted, Assassin's Creed 3, and Hawken at the press conference. So it's got a 5-inch 720p HD multi-touch screen. There's also HD output. It can output 4K apparently.
But its actual resolution is 1280 by 720. It's
The
just
actual one
720p
on the screen, but
Yeah.
if you've got a 4K TV, it'll actually natively output 4K.
If you're rich.
If you're rich. Although 4K's in right now.
4K will be-
CES this
So
year.
in.
Everyone's like, man, check out my 4K.
They'll have 4K TVs on the market this year, and then they'll probably start getting cheaper next
Is
year.
that the new
Yeah.
thing?
4K is big. Oh, they're
Screw
calling
you,
it
3D.
Ultra HD is what they're calling it.
Or UD?
Or UD. Yeah. Yes.
So they've already got technology way beyond 4K, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just bringing it down to a price point that people can
Yeah.
afford. That's all. The tech's there. It's just not affordable. But anyway.
4K is more exciting than, I think, for gamers than 3D, though, because it's high resolution.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
Definitely.
so many pixels.
That's right. But then, you can't push 4K very well at the moment. If you wanted to push 4K, you need even a computer with a really high-res monitor, you need 2 graphics cards in there to push the pixels. So
PS4 apparently will maybe support it.
No doubt.
No doubt.
They probably have all kinds of stuff.
do you know
knowing
what?
the
I
way
want
Sony
to.
works,
I know
right?
everyone says, like, Sony, don't do it again where you make something really expensive. Fit me just goes, I want it to be completely ludicrous.
Yeah.
I want it to have some holographic disc transfer system, like it just be amazing.
Comes with your own robot butler.
Yeah, it consumes like 500 watts a minute, like when you turn it on. Brilliant.
Surprise me either.
Love it. I would love it.
You started talking about the really exciting feature though, which is that streaming.
The streaming thing. Would you do
It depends
this,
how much it is. It depends how much it is. The idea. It looks like that this year is like going to be huge for PC because the idea is that you'll have your PC that you play your games on, and then you'll have the Steam box that you can play on your TV, and then this Nvidia device where you can go to your bedroom or any room that's different to where your PC is and play just on the sofa or just on this little handheld device. The weird thing is though that it's a weird one to do Hawken with it because Hawken is a free to play first-person shooter. If you're playing on that device, you're going to be at a disadvantage against people who are playing with keyboard and mouse, I think.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
it's still, from a technical level, very cool.
It is very cool. It's basically, Nintendo's Wii U does a very similar thing at the moment with the Wii U gamepad, which I actually use quite a lot when I play the Wii U. I do like that feature. So, but the ability to do it on an actual nice screen for a start, a 720p screen with really nice PC games would be.
What do we think? It's got to be under $500, I'd say, because the Vita's failing at that. What is it in the US? It must be $300 maybe.
I have no idea.
And with
If
the
it's
Vita,
over
you just-
that, there's no chance.
Yeah.
So
With-
basically, in the UK, it's got to be £200 really.
And one of the statements I've read, there's obviously a lot of people interviewing Nvidia at the moment about this stuff, is that I forget the CEO's name, but he basically said that they don't want to sell it at a loss.
Sung, isn't it? I think.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't. Obviously they're going to get asked that. You're going to sell this at a loss, like console manufacturers
sure.
do. They're like, yeah, of course we will.
Come get some.
No, apparently they're not. So
His name is Jen Sun
That's it.
Huang,
That's it.
and he was doing from the presentation that I saw. He was doing a very Apple-esque presentation.
Yes.
Is that how? I think that's how all presentations are done these days, isn't it?
Well, people try.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that
No.
inherently. I mean, anyone upping their presentation skills is a good thing in my book. When anything like that.
I don't get one more thing.
Yeah.
Why'd I even go?
Why? What's the point? Might as well just stay
I was
there.
waiting for the one more thing. That's when I wake up.
So yeah. Anyway, you guys aren't sold. I take it by this then.
I think-
I know you
You
sound
also
more
need
sold.
the
I'm
PC
sold now.
as well.
Yeah.
Oh, you still need a
And-
beefy PC. yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, if the Vita's, finding it hard to sell, and essentially all you need to do is buy the Vita, which is already quite expensive with
Yeah.
games. This, you need that. You need your nice PC.
I guess you have to think of it like you can either think of the streaming thing as the main thing it does, or as on
nice
top, or on
addition.
top of the fact that you can play Android games on it like you would any like DS or whatever.
I wouldn't buy a special device to play Android games on. I would buy,
Right.
a
phone.
tablet or a phone.
Yeah.
So it's in this weird
It's the Vita problem
thing
again.
on its own.
Yeah,
It has quite like a niche audience, I think.
I think it's going to be pretty niche.
I think order of excitement for this year is probably Last of Us, Steam Box, then next gen consoles, then the Nvidia thing. I would say.
Wow.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that the Steam Box, that if that does come out, might do that so Microsoft and Sony are super focused on making their consoles be like media centers, which is a good idea. Like that's the kind of thing that a console should be doing. But because they've got their own like stores, they have to invent all these systems that mean that you can't just play the video files that you have. Like I've got some video files that I might want to play on these things that I can't play because they're not like, converted in the right way, or they're not the right file format. And that is a real pain. Like if I want to buy it off the Microsoft store, which I don't,
No.
like, but if I did, then that would be fine, but I don't. So
Because you already own a lot of
because I got the files.
Yeah.
And I guess the beauty of the Valve thing might have as a Steam Box is that I imagine they'll just have a media player that just you throw a file at it and it plays.
I'd love it if it was just like a nice version of VLC.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
with like
That would be
controller
awesome.
support. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Like easy win. You know.
Possibly. I don't know if Valve would be that stupid though, because they've got to be thinking, well, somewhere down the line, we're probably going to want to start selling movies
And actually,
music
they
on
have
this.
they've been experimenting.
They
with that,
did
haven't
indie
they?
game the movie.
Yeah, and they've started selling a few non-gaming apps through Steam as well. So
Because
potentially,
in big picture at the moment, like it's got the ability to do all that stuff. Like it will play your media and stuff. Like
I haven't seen that aspect of it actually. I've played with big picture, but you can play your own media and.
well, not so, but they could do it.
They could
That's
do
what
it.
I'm saying. Like because it's got the browser and stuff, and so it launches things.
the interface works for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be there. Like I mean, it's not a media center yet. But like if it, I'd imagine they would have a thing that's just like play a film, and it just like bloops up. And I imagine because they won't be trying to, because at present I don't see them making their own media store. I imagine there'll be a lot less hoops to jump through than like rent it from the Xbox store. Xbox, Bing, The Matrix, rent, Xbox rent HD or all
Yeah.
that stuff. Like it could just actually make playing. It could be good for playing your media as well.
It's a nice dream. I just
Yeah.
don't know if anyone. When you start making your own box, you want to start you're thinking 5 years
It's
down the
the
line,
ecosystem's
and you're
where
like,
it's at.
yeah.
Like,
Yes,
it's not
yeah.
about
and there's
hardware.
the thing where you don't want to overcomplicate it by having all these options that will just confuse people. You want to have your message sorted, which in this case will be you want to play games on this thing, and also you'll be thinking 5 years down the line. Well, if we put a free, if this thing plays files that you've downloaded off the internet or whatever, is that going to be a problem 5 years down the line when they start wanting to talk to the movie makers and the TV distributors?
I don't think they'd necessarily be focusing on it working as a media device like that, because so much of stuff from the home, the living room is switching to on demand and streaming
Yeah.
instead. Like so many people, especially in America, you see it. They are way more into on demand movie and TV than we are, and everyone's on Netflix.
Yeah.
So if it runs on Linux, someone will make it happen.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
if it runs on
oh,
Linux,
gosh.
then, you know,
Someone will hack it to do it.
done.
In
Yeah,
a day.
Job done, right? All right, let's move on to next question, which is how many apps have been downloaded through Apple's App Store to date?
Gazillions.
40 billion.
That is correct, Guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
40
Give me the
billion.
numbers
Okay.
questions. I'm on these.
It is 40, which is quite frankly a crazy number. Actually, 20 billion of that was just from 2012.
I thought you were going
Oh
to say
my
it was just
God.
Temple Run.
That's no.
Now,
So,
Temple Run was what, 4?
Temple Run Brave.
75 million downloads
75
for
million.
Temple Run. But I find the fact that 20 billion, so half that figure, was just in 1 year.
How many of them were Google app? Google
Yeah.
Google Maps.
Yeah, Google Maps.
Who knows?
Give it back.
But that's just, I mean, that's a mental figure. And
How many
like,
people on Earth now? 6 billion still? 7 billion?
I don't know how many people there are.
I think it's 6 billion.
Let's say 6 billion. So many apps is that each?
6.2.
Let me ask the internet.
6.2. Yeah.
So the first thing that comes up to Google suggestion is how many calories in a banana. How many people?
There's a lot of banana lovers in the world. That
I had a
are trying to
banana
lose weight.
yesterday, and I was thinking
How many calories?
Mate,
Mate,
many is it?
eat the banana. It's good for you.
0
all
points. 0 points.
Really?
Looks like 7 billion actually. So
7 billion.
what's that? That's
Seven. They're 40 divided by
21. It's like about 6 times as many. 6 times the population of Earth, basically.
so you're saying
right.
everyone on Earth has 6 apps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Google Maps, Temple Run,
Angry Birds.
Angry Birds
or
Space.
one-off Angry
Birds
Birds.
Space.
A medium banana has 105 calories.
That's good to know.
Good to know.
That's quite a bit more than I thought.
Yes.
MyFitnessPal.
Actually, do you know what? Do you know what? My friend of mine started using MyFitnessPal.
It's
He's all over it because you can
It's
scan
good.
in, like you can like.
Yeah,
you
it's
can
got a bucket
use,
scanner.
Yeah, use the button to scan it all in. It does it.
gamify
Pretty
it.
good.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at this one. What's it called?
MyFitnessPal.
My
It's
Fitness
got the
Pal.
podcast.
Yeah, it's free as well. So
Yeah.
you know,
Brilliant.
there you go. If you're trying to lose weight, everyone, MyFitnessPal is the way
Runkeeper.
forward.
So many apps.
So apparently, more than 775,000 apps are now available on the App Store.
Yeah.
And Apple has paid developers $7 billion, or more than $7 billion in, revenue,
In royalty, yeah. Okay.
royalties even.
Surely the developers have got that money themselves. It's like, surely Apple's
I
not like,
don't know
oh, here's
how
some
it
pity
works.
revenue.
There's some pity revenue. Yeah, so I mean,
They must be minted.
Apple.
Apple.
They're doing all right.
Yeah, I hear they're doing it.
They
Yeah,
are
alright.
pretty minted. Yeah, they have more money than the U.S. government in cash.
Whoa.
Appleopia.
Yeah, it's
They should
pretty.
start a country, shouldn't they?
pretty
They're gonna buy
mental.
Well,
Europe.
if you're talking, like the US government having in cash and not loans to Japan or whoever.
Yeah, exactly. But it's, I mean, whatever it is, it's quite frankly an astonishing amount of money they just have lying around now.
No, that's making me feel horrible.
Sorry, let's move on to the next question, which is, who said TV and computer craze is giving kids cancer? Someone
idiot.
said that this week. Could be a person. Maybe it could be a publication. Who knows?
Oh, wait. Read me the line
I'll
again.
read you this again. TV and computer craze is giving kids cancer.
Daily Mail or Fox News?
It's both incorrect.
The Sun.
Oh,
That is incorrect. Anyone else want to have a go?
It's grammatically incorrect, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit.
Sentence?
That's what this is a headline. I'll give you that, and that is what the headline says.
That's the headline.
It's a headline.
Is it a
TV and
reputable-
computer craze is giving kids cancer.
TV and oh no, it's not grammatically incorrect. TV and computer craze is giving kids cancer.
Yeah.
Giving kids.
Not the Wall Street Journal.
No.
is
I
it
don't-
a news publication?
It is a news publication, and it is a UK news publication.
Mirror.
Oh,
Correct.
Hey.
Mirror.
It is. It is the Mirror. So they printed a headline that said that prolonged exposure to games and TV is inducing cancer in children, according to coverage of a scientific report by the tabloid The Mirror. However, the actual report is about basically sitting too long, effectively, and
Right.
not doing
I was
exercise.
going to say, what part of is it? The screen?
It's not. It's nothing to do with that. So it's the fact that what it actually says is that if you're sat down in front of a TV or a monitor or anything, or you sat down like just dicking about on your phone for too long, that sort
Yeah.
of stuff is really bad for you because you should be moving about and doing whatever. That's what it's
Or if
actually
you're
about.
sitting down in school learning, or that makes a less exciting headline, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Sitting in
it's
school
sitting.
gives our kids cancer.
Basically, just any inactivity. I mean, you should be being physically active. I mean, they were saying that in school.
know this already.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the report that they decided.
What about recording a podcast?
Yeah. We've been here for an hour.
We
now.
have been pretty physically inactive.
We do
so
sit
far.
still a lot of the time.
Oh no.
That is a thing we do.
Yeah.
But we're going to move on now to the final question.
We're going to move on. We're going to
move
discard
on
the
and
fact
discard the fact that
we
we're
are
all
picking up
going to
cancer
get
right
cancer.
now.
Yeah. Final question: which popular puzzle game is set to get a desktop makeover from board game maker Hasbro?
Which desktop?
Sorry, no. Which popular puzzle game is set to get a makeover from board game maker Hasbro? I.e., it's going to get a board game made of it.
Bejeweled.
Well done.
Oh,
it is
whoa.
Bejeweled.
Wow.
Did you know that? Was that a
No,
guess?
I just eliminate, like, if I was
Yeah.
going to make a board game from a popular puzzle game,
Yeah.
what would it be?
Well
Bejeweled
done.
is popular.
It is Bejeweled. So
Yeah.
they're making a Bejeweled board game.
Rather Plants vs Zombies. but I'll
Plants
take
vs
it.
Zombies would be the best.
But then how would that work? Well, I guess it would.
How would
We just don't
Bejeweled
have-
work? Is it?
Yeah.
Well, it's like, well, do you know what? I should have put a picture of it on here because when I saw the picture, I went, "Oh yeah." Now I can't picture it in my head.
So you forgot.
Guy, look at the picture.
I'm
But
looking at
while I tell
Bejeweled,
you about
yeah.
this game,
Yeah.
it's basically going to hit in spring. There's going to be two games. There's going to be Bejeweled and Bejeweled Frenzy. Bejeweled is where you match 3 tiles to eliminate them, funnily enough. And
Yeah.
Bejeweled Frenzy, the second game, tasks players with building a stack of cards as quickly as possible.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Bejeweled Frenzy includes 84 cards and 7 boost gems.
Boost gems.
Yes. If you purchase the
Okay.
game, you'll also receive a download code.
For the actual game?
For Bejeweled 3.
Nice.
So there you go. There you go.
Cool.
Like if it was just something else.
Yeah, yeah.
You also receive a download code.
Borderlands 2.
Borderlands 2. Brilliant.
Go back.
Yeah.
It looks sort of like Guess Who, you know,
Yeah.
card game where you have
Yeah.
that sort of standing up.
Anyone-
Crucially, it doesn't look as good as Bejeweled.
no.
That's true. That's true.
I
That's
mean,
exciting.
you know, Bejeweled is not an expensive game. You can play it
No.
on anything. You can play it on Facebook for
Yeah.
free. Why would you want a board game version of it?
It'll just be one of those things that'll
just
be
a cross-media
Christmas,
thing.
You know, like, oh, they like that thing, right?
It's not like you're going
Have
to sit down with your
this.
kids and play Bejeweled on that. You play like an actual board game, like Monopoly or Risk or something decent.
I saw
like,
a draw something, like
Yeah.
a draw something, and that looked rubbish.
That's Pictionary.
Yeah,
Like,
when
why
they're
is
actually
it-
selling it as like manual, real life draw something.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's like
Otherwise
something
called
like-
Pictionary.
Comes in like a big pencil.
Dude, we've had that for
Ah.
like forever. Like,
Yeah, draw something.
I mean, I guess it's a brand that people are more familiar. Maybe they're more familiar with the brand Draw Something than they are Pictionary now.
That's
I don't know.
depressing.
I think Draw Something was. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I thought it was like a thing that was popular like in June last year, and that
It was,
Yeah.
and then everyone forgot about it.
Yeah.
About 3 weeks, and then it got tiresome because you had so many people you had to reply to,
Yeah.
and you couldn't be bothered.
How much was it they got sold for in the end?
Oh,
was
it
still
was
big.
Too much loads.
It was
huge, and that's when Zynga started to go downhill. Really,
Because they
It was
made a
exactly
stupid
then.
decision.
Draw Something was great for that. 3 weeks, wasn't it, though?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
It
amazing.
was.
Like, when we were playing it.
Actually, it was
like-
March last year, because I remember being at GDC and everyone
that was it,
playing
yeah.
Yeah.
Scramble with Friends is the one that my friend back home recently
Scramble
told
with
me.
Friends?
Scramble with Friends. It's the same
Scramble.
Zynga kind of thing. Word
No, it's Boggle,
based.
isn't it?
It's
Is it
Boggle.
Boggle?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Boggle.
Oh, it's Boggle. Right.
But it is a lot of fun.
Do you think anyone will come up with like a new board game idea for one of these?
Board games have been around since like the 1600s, right? And so it's like difficult to
Yes.
come up
Like
with something
earlier.
new. Earlier, yeah, it must be.
Original chess and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are kind of just reversions of existing ones, which is a common theme across every medium.
It'd be nice if there was an interesting idea there.
You joke about the Bejeweled board game or whatever this. Yeah, it's a board game. But that's the profit margin on that will be much bigger than it is for the
That's
game.
true.
And so this is how Rovio made all their money from
Yeah,
Angry.
we've got an Angry Birds
Mr.
board game.
Businessman.
Angry Birds.
With
It's all about
knowledge.
cross media expansion.
If anyone wants
and
to
all
play
that.
the Angry Birds board game later, I'm up for a game.
Sorry,
No,
mate.
no.
I gotta go.
Busy day.
Who
Got
won?
some old Draw Something
Who
terms.
won?
yeah,
You're the quiz
dirty
master.
draw something.
I'm going to tell you who won. Martin won.
Yeah.
Well done.
So well done.
What do I
Martin. You get the.
You get your name on the
You get your
board.
name on the board with a tick or some sort
Nice.
next to it
Get
saying.
one.
You get invited
winner.
back.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
to-
you
I
get
also
to come
have
back.
breaking news to add on to the end of your
What's
news
the breaking
quiz.
news?
Is they've announced a Lego Marvel superheroes game.
We should
With a
guess what they're going to
picture.
do next because it's going to be really easy.
So it looks
isn't
kind of like the Lego Batman 2 one where you had all your Justice League friends. So I can see, is that Wolverine? Is Wolverine Marvel?
Oh,
I'm gonna told off.
Lego Wolverine.
But
Wait,
is
wait.
that-
So
Cool.
There's Thor, Spider-Man, Hulk, Captain America, Iron Man, and I always
Scarlett
call
Scarlett
Dave-
Johansson.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson won.
And Scarlett
Widow
Johansson.
thing.
Oh, Scarlett Johansson.
I thought Warner owned TT Games.
I don't know if they own them. They've got a stake in them, I think.
Yeah, because lots of things
they're
they've made
still
have been Warner Brothers properties, but
Yeah.
not all of them. There's definitely I can't remember which one it was I played that wasn't a Warner Brothers
Yeah.
property.
Actually, Pirates is
No,
Disney,
it is.
isn't
It is. You're right. It's a subsidiary of Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment.
Lego Pirates of the Caribbean is a Disney thing
That
as well.
is,
Yes.
And
So maybe they've just got to deal with Disney to do Disney stuff.
That must be awkward.
Yes.
Not really. It's like, do you want to make some money, Disney? Yes,
but-
I quite like money. So here's a Lego Pirates. of the
I've heard
Caribbean
they
game.
like
Let's
money.
all have money and.
What happens
pay
when
them
they
the
have to
money.
choose between Lego Batman and Lego Captain America? It'd be like,
They don't have to choose. I mean,
They'd have to choose, and
They're
you
both,
can
just
think
make
of the
different
crossover
games.
potential later on. They'll just do what Capcom did, and they'll just do crossover Lego games once they ran out of franchises to like make into Lego.
okay, fine. I want
No,
that,
'cause
I
you
want
never-
that bit to start.
you wouldn't have that in comics, would you? They're like fierce rivals. I mean, it's like
I don't
Exactly,
think-
it's the fanboy's wet dream in Lego.
that's true actually because there was
you
a
can
point
smash
where you
up
would.
the characters you hate. I guess.
Like 20 years ago, you would never have thought Mario and Sonic would be in a game together. That would have been
Yeah.
sacrilege.
Exactly,
20 years
and it
ago.
happened,
And it
right?
happened. So
So all we need is for one of those two companies
to go
to
tits
fall
up.
on financially
Believe
troubled
me.
times.
Lego
Release-
crossover.
Yeah, release something that's a big disappointment, and like Sega did. And although I love the Dreamcast, and then go software only. But what's the equivalent for a movie studio? I don't know. I've gone into a weird black hole that I don't
I
understand
know, but
now.
let's make it happen.
Anyway,
All right, let's make it happen by
Things.
bankrupting a company.
Answers on a
Yeah.
post.
Hooray!
Okay.
Email in how you would
let's-
bankrupt Marvel.
Speaking of emailing in, Martin, it's
Ooh.
time.
Nice.
It's time to do the feedback. And this week there are lots of emails, so we might not get to them all, but we'll try and read out some of the best ones.
So if
While
while
I'm doing that,
Mark's-
could you pass me the water, please?
Yeah, of
Guys?
course.
That
So
was-
while
that's
Mark's
it.
going
So you're
through
gonna-
that, I
there you go.
will
Oh, so you're going to read the emails.
keep an eye on the Twitch comments.
Yeah, ping
So
through on Twitch.
Leave
Why
us
not?
some comments and I'll try and pick some out for Mark after that.
Yes. So, first email is from Mel, who says, Happy New Year, GameSpot crew. Hope you had a great break and a good start into the new year. What games to be released in 2013 are you most excited for, and why? And most importantly, what beverage and/or food did you most enjoy devouring while you were off work? Wishing you all the best for hopefully a Maze Balls 2013.
Thanks, Mel. I don't know where to start on that. So the
All right.
games.
Just give me your top 3 for the year.
Actually, the food that I most enjoyed over Christmas was
Not even starting on the
was-
games. Just,
was of course the classic Dorito and Mountain Dew combo. That's more of Danny's enjoyment, I think.
Zing.
No, I'd over Christmas enjoyed my dad's fine cooking, like amazing Christmas cake and lots of unhealthy snacks. Most looking forward to Last of Us Beyond, which is weird because I've just mainly got into PC gaming. But Beyond, what did I say? Beyond, Last of Us, and maybe Battlefield 4.
okay.
Right.
Everyone's excited about Gears of War Judgment, though, aren't they?
Are
Really?
they?
That's because they're mental.
I don't know. I hope it's good. New
play it.
studio, but yeah.
Play
definitely.
it.
Top 3 and your food. Go on.
Last of Us.
Yes.
Bioshock.
Yes.
And I don't know. We'll leave that one.
Okay.
Bioshock actually, I think, would replace Battlefield.
Have you got a food?
It was food and/or beverage.
And/or beverage. That's true.
So
actually.
probably gin.
Gin?
Yes.
I hate gin.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
That's the London
Gin.
spirit.
Get a nice classy gin and
I
tonic.
like gin.
I got through a
Good.
bottle of Bombay Sapphire over the.
Bombay
Christmas
Sapphire's
holidays.
okay.
Yeah.
But I hate most of the gin.
Sarah.
Food. Oh god.
Or beverage, apparently.
Or beverage. Beverage. I think I had quite a few gin and tonics. Little nice gin tea. Bit of cucumber in that with your fancy
Oh,
gins.
nice.
Gin, yeah, no messing about.
I like it with Vicky.
Suave. Some
nice.
half price Sainsbury's own Pucks Fizz. That was delightful. Games.
But you went when we went to Cam's mulled wine and just mulled wine evening. You bought the finest mince pies, didn't you?
Yes,
So you-
because I believe they're on sale.
Okay, right.
Plus,
Those are pretty tasty.
They are way
Wine.
nice. You
They
know
are
when they're
way
all
nicer.
butter. It's
Oh,
basically
yeah.
just someone's just like put half a pound in there. It's like,
Yeah, that was pretty good. Best games or games I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to. Probably Beyond Two Souls.
Beyond looks amazing.
I really, because obviously we've only seen a tiny little look at it. I really want to see what they'll show next. Probably Last of Us as well, and I can't really think. There are games coming out, but I'm not necessarily massively excited.
you can just
for.
have 2 if you like.
Sure.
You can
I-
have a new console maybe as a
Sure.
game replacement.
Let's go with that as well.
PlayStation 4.
PlayStation 4 with its amazing powers. Last of Us, Bioshock, Tomb Raider, and also for food. I made a monkfish roulade on Christmas Day,
What?
which was just one of the best things ever.
On
And
Christmas Day.
yeah. I don't eat meat.
I know, but
Isn't it classic to have, a really disgusting nut roast for Christmas?
I
It
thought
is,
I
it is,
thought
but
about
that's what I was
Yeah.
saying, Mark. What
Yeah.
a silent roast.
I thought about that, but I had a sweet potato shepherd's pie actually. It was all right.
that sounds nice.
It was all right.
But the monkfish roulade was incredible. And then I guess the drink of choice over Christmas, New Year was Jägermeister, funnily enough. So
Jägermeister.
it was, unfortunately.
Never really have Jägermeister. I only have Jägermeister when I'm like out and on it.
So when I was out and on it, I had some, and then I bought some bottles for New Year's Eve, and then that's when things went wrong.
What about Grand Theft Auto V?
Oh yeah, the V.
Grand Theft Auto V.
I'm excited about it. But
I
I'm
am,
not as
yeah.
much as the internet in general. I don't think it's.
I'm
I'm more
not-
excited about.
I don't see a
Bioshock.
screenshot and go, "Oh my god, so
Grand Theft
awesome!"
Auto V.
Okay, we got to move on. Next one is from Eric Song, who says, as always, I thought it was a brilliant ending to 2012 with Danny's Year as a Gamer video. While watching the video, I planned my own resolutions for 2013, and all the things I came up with, one thing stuck in my mind: upgrade my PC, quadruple exclamation mark. I've been writing to you for some time. I'm sure I've annoyed you guys enough with my crappy PC. Anyway, he just says that he's got some single core 3 gigahertz thing, 3 gigs of RAM.
3 gigs of RAM.
3. And a 9500 GT, and I'm grateful that it meets most of the minimum
Wait, the
requirements.
system has 3 gigs of RAM, or
The system has 3 gigs of RAM. He says, I want to thank you for all the advice on building a good rig, and I read all the gaming advice over, and he also enjoyed the one Jane and I did a long time ago.
The PC build.
Yeah.
That was 2009.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. But his actual question is, what is your New Year's resolution as a gamer? Do you have a gaming New Year's resolution?
Nah, I don't really do New Year's resolutions.
Nah, mate.
Nah, mate. Nah,
mate.
bruv.
No. Do one.
Yeah, no, I don't really have. I've recently got into PC gaming, so my New Year's resolution is to continue with PC
gaming.
But I don't really do New Year's resolutions in general. Sorry to sound boring.
I don't either, but after this New Year's Eve that I had, which was amazing.
No alcohol?
No, not at all. Of course.
Right,
mental.
okay. I've seen people not doing alcohol all January, or even not doing alcohol all year.
Yeah, well, those people are mental. Anyway, we went to the pub afterwards, and I went with some people, and what they do every year is they write them down on a bit of paper, and in the group of people, they all have to make sure they all stick to them. So that's what I've got. I've got a bit of paper with some actual New Year's resolutions on.
Are they secret?
wow.
They are secret ones,
Okay.
yeah. But we've started a Facebook group, a support group between us.
Aw.
I've never done this before, so
That's
I'm gonna,
adorable.
it is pretty adorable.
But it's
so
secret.
It is secret.
When do we get to find out?
You get to find out at the end of the year. Yeah.
Okay, well, someone remembers that.
No one
I
will
think
remember.
what it might be. Your New Year's resolution.
It's quite a list, actually.
Okay,
Yeah,
alright.
it's quite a long list. Anyway, next one says, hey guys, maybe I haven't had much time to play games this year, but I feel 2012 wasn't a great year for games. I believe 2011 and 2010 were much better. That's because you're correct. Having said that, I want to know what games in 2013, we've already talked about that, but he's really excited about Rayman Legends and the Wonderful 101. I forgot about the Wonderful
It was
101.
called Project P100 wasn't
Yeah.
it, for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is looking cool, but Rayman Legends, yes.
Yeah, we played.
Totally forgot about that.
Have you played the demo
Yes.
of that yet? Because the demo of that's on Wii U. So if you want to play it, then
What? When
Check
did
it
that
out.
happen?
Came out before Christmas. I downloaded it. I think
Oh
you
yeah,
might have
we
been
had
out
a
of the
quick
office.
go,
the
and
office.
because me and Mark were doing excellent teamwork when we went to go see a demo
did.
of it.
Yeah.
Because there's a bit where there's the person using the gamepad has to like turn the wheel that the other person is jumping
Rotato.
through.
Yes.
Yeah, and I tried doing it with Guy, useless, and he was like, "Nah, you're dead now."
Oh, well.
Was I rotating or were you?
I don't know. Either way.
I think I remember rotating. I'm
You
sorry.
were just griefing the whole way through.
I was doing all right. Shot down now. Yes, Rayman. I don't know. I thought Project P100 was the best game I played on Wii U. E3 last year, anyway. But it's gone. Sorry, it's called Wonderful 100 or 101.
Oh, so the Wonderful 101.
What's
Yes.
with that? What's with that name? It doesn't work.
They're all wonderful.
Doesn't explain what it is.
They're wonderful.
No?
Neither did Project P100. I just don't like the name.
Wait, so it's Project P100 and now it's Wonderful 101.
Yeah, they keep increasing.
Have they added another thing?
Well, it's a cast of superheroes, isn't
Yeah, I
it?
thought it was 100 of them originally.
Now there's 101. Maybe that's
Okay.
like the villain. Like they had to include him as one.
He was a hero and he became a villain. Hunt and kill.
Sounds like it could be a setup for a video game. Yeah.
Is he still
Okay.
wonderful? Or is...
Well, he's less wonderful.
Oh,
Maybe he's just wonderfully evil.
I guess, yeah.
Yes.
In reference to the other question, yeah, I mean, 2012 might not be looked back on as a classic year.
No,
but,
it was a good year.
But don't get too hung up on like things defined as year. You know, I mean, saying this, like obviously looking at the crazy amount of people that visited our Game of the Year 2012 feature.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2010 maybe was better. Was that the year of Mario Galaxy 2 and a bunch of other
I
stuff?
can't remember, but it was awesome.
The one that sticks in my mind was like the first Modern Warfare,
Yeah.
Orange Box, the original Mario Galaxy. Was that 2008? I think that was
so
all within
good.
like two or 3 months.
So
That was
good.
definitely very memorable. But yeah, I don't get hung up on it. The game's world moves so fast that it's like there's always good stuff
I
coming.
think I remember Skyrim was probably a 2012 game for most people.
lot
A lot of people,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Who would have barely, I know I certainly hit my Skyrim peak in 2012,
All right.
despite the release date being 2011. It was only like a month.
I think
right?
Seb Ford's still playing Skyrim. Are you still
Oh,
playing?
he's
Are you
still-
still playing Skyrim? He's
I think
nodding.
that's like
He says
his
yes.
main game.
What were you playing on your break? You're saying Mass Effect 3. That was it.
Ah, cool. Oh, Flower.
I saw a couple of people, and Cam was planning to play Mass Effect 3, because he said he doesn't like playing those games when everyone's talking about them. He'd rather play them on his own in a lonely fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, he's just a loner. But speaking of Cam, he says an email from Lee Brownhill says, I felt compelled to write in simply to say how much I enjoyed last week's show with Mark, Guy and Cam. Not sure if I just imagined it, but the show had a different vibe in terms of the banter and mockery going on.
Banter.
Bants.
Bants, mate.
So the
Try
humour was totally
bants.
up my street, and I have to admit I actually laughed out loud on several occasions. We just need to get Cam back.
Get
don't
Cam.
we? Yeah.
Get Cam the man.
Anyway, I did want to ask a
Cam's going to love this. I think he's going to be watching this.
Oh, is he watching it?
Yeah.
Hi,
Keep
Cam.
an eye on it. Hi, Cam.
I did want to ask a very quick question too. I'm currently 32 years old and an avid gamer on Xbox. However, I have recently heard several people say it's strange for a guy as old as I am to still be playing games. Those people are crazy. Naturally, I tell people to go and do one. But I would just like to hear your thoughts on this topic regarding age. Don't get me wrong, I do feel old, but how old is too old in regards to gaming?
I don't think
There's
it's
no-
too
I'm
old for
hoping
any
there's
medium.
There's no too old for anything, really. If you
Yeah.
want to, I mean, you can be, I mean, it's just crazy, right? It's the only
Yeah.
thing that's limiting you in anything is your physical, apart from gaming, really.
Ability.
But
Sometimes I
you
feel
know.
a bit too old.
Yeah.
I
Really?
was playing some Counter-Strike over Christmas, and everyone was talking about how pissed off they were about having to go back to school. And I was like,
Oh,
I wish I could go back to school.
When they're talking about Justin Bieber and One
Yeah.
Direction.
Oh.
And I imagine the conversation would then become like how tough it is to have, they've just gone to the big school and
Yeah.
and they finish at 3:30. It's supposed
Right.
to 3:15 now.
Ah.
And I was sitting there and I was like, don't say anything. Don't say anything.
Creepy old man.
creepy old guy.
Back away from the game. Escape. Quit game.
Go and cry in a corner. That's it.
Taste change definitely over time, I
Yeah.
think. But
Yeah.
I don't think you're too old. I don't.
I hope. I'm looking forward to retirement because that's going to be when I catch up on Far Cry 3.
Yeah. I
In
think
30 years
I think
time.
you can do loads of stuff when you're old, and like loads of people do. I mean, it's part. I mean, there's a graceful way to do it. Don't get me wrong, but there's nothing wrong with it at all.
There's nothing wrong with it.
No, it's
Sometimes I do feel a bit old, but that's usually when I'm playing online multiplayer games, traditional Xbox Live.
it's because of
But
the.
there's no reason to stop doing that.
There's in the Twitch comments. There's an age off now. Everyone's putting their age in.
Who is the youngest?
It looks like the 19-year-old is the youngest. We've got someone at 32, and it's sort of median age seems to be around 26. Something like
Yeah.
that.
That 19-year-old
I'll
has so
take
much
that.
to live for.
Yeah.
17.
Enjoy Maryberry21. His username is his or her username
Is
is
Mary Berry?
Maryberry21.
Mary Berry.
Is
I was
not
gonna-
actually 19.
I was going to say,
Mary Berry.
knock out some
21.
cakes, you know.
But George 975's just come in at 18, and
Yeah.
Acid
Jib.
Jib is 17. So
Oh, man, 17 years old.
17 years old.
When I
Almost
was
10 years.
17, like it was like life was just completely different.
When I was 17, it was just like girls. Like, I mean that
Yeah,
in a good way.
right.
As in, no, and I mean that as in I wanted girls. I didn't have any. But that was all I was
Yeah.
thinking about. Is what I meant.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to think I was like some kind of player. That really was not the case.
I think people are just taking the piss now. Just someone just put 7. George D975. Well, they could be 7.
If you are 7, I'm sorry for all the crass.
You've got so much to learn.
Yeah.
Hey, let's hear from Beth, who says, Hola, podcast peeps. I was listening to an episode from a few weeks ago discussing gaming laptops and thought I'd weigh in with a recommendation. I picked up the Acer M3 Ultrabook a month or so ago, and it's not a bad gaming machine at all. In fact, we had that in the office for a little while.
I don't remember seeing this. A gaming Ultrabook.
Yeah, do you remember? We had it. It was like, well, it was an Ultrabook, but it was a 15-inch Ultrabook.
No.
Do you remember? Nvidia. Okay.
I only know we've got like the giant Alienware.
No, we had it before that. We only had it for like a couple of weeks, and I had to send it back.
Cool story.
Cool story, bro. Yes, it features one of the Kepler chips, the GT640M, which again I found at the time ran a lot of stuff, even though it was a really cheap laptop. It was like a £500 laptop. It's a bit massive for an Ultrabook, but it's fairly priced and doesn't weigh a ton either. Trackpad is crap. Yes, I found that too. Screen
On
is
all trackpads. Has there ever been a good trackpad?
Apple trackpads.
Apple's trackpad.
And the nubbin that's on IBM ThinkPads. The screen's not wonderful, and I thought that too because it was terrible. Anyway, it's nice to have a PC that I can move from spot to spot, so I'd recommend it. Gaming laptop.
I once gave some thought to getting an Ultrabook, but it's not going to be. Is that one is up to gaming though? I mean, you can run Far Cry on it,
Yes.
Battlefield,
I
probably not the
remember
highest setting.
I ran Battlefield 3 on it, and on Ultra, you're talking like 20 frames per second. Kick
Sure.
it down to high, and you over 40.
So you can play it medium and be loving
If
it.
you want over 60, I'd be quite happily play it on high at over
Yeah.
40.
I'd love a gaming laptop. Unfortunately, they're a little bit too expensive.
Yeah.
Well, I'd actually genuinely love one.
They also tend to be quite large.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. That Alienware.
The Alienware we have, which is the office anyway.
I took it
it's
home
just-
over Christmas.
I
It's
prefer
so heavy.
like a small PC to a gaming laptop.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
Yeah.
like the one that you built recently.
Yes.
The Bit Phoenix case.
Yes. That's
the
one.
micro ITX
Micro ITX.
form factor.
That's the way to go. I had lots of emails about that, actually.
Yeah.
Good ones, so that was good.
I like that.
Sorry to derail this conversation, but Seb is on the GameSpot Twitch account as GameSpot, and he is now talking about his dad, who is
Seb's dad is a
83.
legend.
Seb, and everyone is commenting on what a legend Seb is.
Player.
Yeah. They can't get enough.
This is from Peter Hung. He says a shout out from Boston, Massachusetts.
Internationalist.
He emails quite a lot, actually, so good to hear from you again, Peter.
Cosmopolitan listener.
I want to know if any of you guys know of any words out there that suggest there will be a remake/update of Grim Fandango, just so people can play it on Windows 7. If not, would you guys like something like that to happen, not only to Grim, but to all old classic PC games that are too old to be played on current PCs?
Or just all PC. I thought he was going to say like all of Day of the Tentacle and all those
yeah,
Lucas.
I
Well,
think-
yeah, I mean, it implies
A
that.
problem with lots of those, because it's LucasArts, when Lucas like film and all of that was bought by Disney, those games count as part of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So Disney now has them. So
Yeah.
I doubt it. But there's a couple of websites that were working on like hacks and stuff to get it to work on Windows 7 and faster PCs. Because I remember when I had Grim Fandango and I got into it quite late, and I had a PC that was too fast to run it even then.
Did you have to do the
Had to do-
the fix because there was
had
that
to- there's
puzzle with the door? Oh, I've not.
Yeah, it
worked
was a
on
puzzle that you couldn't do it because the thing went up or you
Yeah,
couldn't
it
click
was
it in
too
time.
quick.
Yeah, so you had to put a patch on the game to get it
To
to work.
slow your
Yeah,
processor
to slow
down.
that down. Yeah, it was mental. And that wasn't even that new a PC
It was
for
like
that
a
game.
decade ago.
Yeah, so the fact that, people trying to run it on Windows 7 now, it must just completely wig out and just go, what the hell?
It's a shame. I feel like it'd be the sort of thing that they'd want to kickstart. Someone would want to kickstart that.
But
Was it Grim Fandango, the original?
Yeah.
Was that what they was? What was
yeah,
the question
talking about Grim Fandango, yeah. But like Sarah says, that's
licensing,
owned by
isn't
Disney now.
yeah.
Evil Mickey Mouse.
Uh-huh.
There you go. I was waiting for you to do it.
Free feed.
And also, Grim Fandango is such a great it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. I'm not sure. I love that game. I'm not sure I'd want to go back and do more Grim Fandango. If we're talking about a sequel. And
I don't
stuff,
want to play a sequel.
I'd like to see it working on modern
I'd
computers.
like to play it again because it's been so long. I think
it's
it'd be
incredible.
quite fresh to me now to play it
I
again.
feel like after playing the Telltale Walking Dead games that I should go back and check out their sort of remakes.
Yeah.
Not remakes, they're sequels, aren't they, to Sam and Max? Because I love the original Sam and Max.
Apparently that
they're
one's
okay.
not great.
No?
I still
Did
haven't
they
played the
re-
Tales
they-
of Monkey Island.
It seems like they really hit it with Walking Dead.
That was their-
that's
yeah.
their.
That's their breakout, you're awesome one.
Yeah.
Whereas, because I was really excited when I read stuff about how they maybe had the license to do Fables,
Oh yeah.
which is this comic series.
Sure.
That would be
I
really
think
good.
I heard about that as well. They've started talking a lot more about what they want to work on next. Obviously, there's going to be a second series of Walking Dead, but they were talking about Star Wars, I think. Looking at
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Why not?
Why not?
Sure.
The best
Aim
thing about
big.
Telltale is that, last year, Telltale won a lot of worst game of the year lists.
Yeah.
Or was it the
And-
year before for Jurassic Park?
Yeah,
so
Jurassic
it's like they've-
Park.
And they were hated. There was this thing about them posting review, was it on Metacritic? They were posting reviews.
yeah, that was right. They were at least
some of the staff were caught posting positive reviews, and so they've turned it around this year.
naughty.
They've had a good
How
year.
quickly people forget, eh? All right.
Well, make a good game.
Or
That's,
make a
that's
good, yeah.
the-
But anyway, time to get serious now. Okay,
Uh-oh.
serious
Take
time.
it down.
Serious
Yeah.
business.
Let's take it down a notch.
Serious
So this is
business.
an email from Jason Darbin. He says, Danny was tweeting the other day about another video games journalist writing an article on an indie project he had funded on Kickstarter. The article practically evangelized the project, and the journalist also, you know who I'm talking about, don't you? And he also said that he would probably be reviewing it. Danny felt that this was akin to the whole tweeting about a game to win a PS3 fiasco that happened recently, and that this was entirely biased journalism. My thoughts are that while this journalist is obviously excited for this game and perhaps somewhat invested in its success, why does this make him any more biased than people reviewing games in many other cases? Reviewing a game that you are anticipating could go either way. Perhaps in your excitement you gloss over the flaws, or perhaps the failure of the game to meet your expectations causes you to be overly harsh. Many people are heavily invested in games titles. Whether the writer in question contributed to the game or not could be seen as equally biased towards it. Had he not had the opinion to invest, surely he would have been just as biased when reviewing the game. While there is a case here for clear bias as the audience has proof of the writer's investment, both financial and emotional, this does not make him any worse than those who did the same thing without shouting to the world about it beforehand. While helping to fund a game by Kickstarter may prove your interest in a game, it should equally disqualify you from reviewing it. Does helping to fund a game by Kickstarter automatically make you more biased than many other people eagerly anticipating a title? I thought this was an interesting issue, and I would love to hear any and all of your thoughts on it. Thanks, Jason Darwin.
It's an interesting
topic.
There's a lot of moral discussion around games journalists in general. I think that you can sometimes maybe get too involved in it and that you can get too serious about it. I think, from my perspective, I think if you've invested in a game and you're personally involved with it, maybe if your friends made it, whatever, a smaller site, if there's not that many of you and you have to review it, as long as you declare that fact at the top of the review, then then you're not hiding anything, and people can decide for themselves whether they trust your opinion or whatever.
Yeah.
If for a big organization such as GameSpot, I feel like if I've contributed to, I haven't contributed to any Kickstarter funds. I did contribute to the Kickstarter fund. The guys that that were made redundant from Inside Xbox, their next project. That's not.
But that's
they're
not
really
making a game, right? Yeah.
No, but I just felt like while I was in the interest of full disclosure, that I would probably I would try and remove myself from any reviewing process just because it's.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't make sense. I mean, for me, it's the issue that I think share with Danny on this is that it was a case of backing the Kickstarter and actively going out and promoting the hell out of that. Right.
As a journalist. Yeah.
And to me, that's saying, I've invested in this thing and I need to promote it to make it successful, or at least, tell people about it. And to me, that's probably a little step too far, maybe. But I don't know.
They weren't necessarily being like Machiavellian, like, oh, I want to help this because it'll help me, like, financially or whatever. No. But even if that isn't the case, there's a certain level of naivety there that wouldn't be a perception. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, some people take it really seriously, and maybe it is an abuse of power being a journalist and promoting a game. But I think if you're honest and you say, look, this is my friends that are making this.
I think Kickstarter.
Being honest.
You see, for me, Kickstarter, and because we thought about this a lot in my last job where I did reviews. The thing I feel for Kickstarter is that if I as a journalist, if I put money into a game and then I preach about the potential qualities of this game, at that stage, like if I do it to you, Mark, you then have to make your choice then whether you invest. And if that goes bad, so if you look at the traditional sense, so if I'm previewing a game and I go, I enjoyed the level I played on this preview, that equally might make you think, oh, I'll pre-order this game because it sounds good.
That's true.
But I like to think that the system, as it stands, like at the review stage, that will be caught. As if so that maybe that one level is the only good level in the game. I'd like to think at the review stage, someone will go, well, the preview, that level is a good level, but the game is not worth that money, and you have time to opt out of that purchase, if you will. Like, you don't have to buy into it. The trouble with the Kickstarter stuff is you are being sold a promise and that you have to invest then. And so my concern with Kickstarter is if I say that you should definitely get in on this and it goes bad, it's almost because a lot of reviews are seen as buyer's guides, and basically a lot of reviews come down to people thinking, do I want to buy this game or do I not want to buy this game? And I find it's quite tough. Like, there's no real firm answers. Like, there's a lot of different approaches, but my fear is that if I go, oh, get this Kickstarter, this looks great, I'm probably going to review it when it comes out, it sounds like I'm already endorsing a game that I have no way of knowing, because it could not be good, or it could not come out, and my fear, maybe it's just me trying to think ahead for like worst case scenarios, is that people might come back and go, oh, I put £35 into this game, like I put £45 into this game because you said it was good, and it turns out that the game's like never even come out, or it wasn't very good, or it was 3 years too late.
Have you ever said that to someone though? Invest in this Kickstarter?
Oh no, I haven't. I haven't, because from almost anyone. I made a big guy, so that's why I try. So there are Kickstarters I'm interested in, but I don't try and approach them from a stance of like, come and do this, or I think you should do this. I think I try and do it from the stance that like whoever invests in a Kickstarter needs to be aware of the positives and negatives. Like, there was a big blog post on Kickstarter at the end of last year where they were like, Kickstarter's not like a shopping thing. It's
Yeah, I
like,
remember
you're
reading
not, you're not
that,
like
yeah.
buying things. But I think when you look at it from the perspective of games, a lot of people, because a lot of the reward tiers, a lot of the early ones are like get a copy of the game, and I think people purposely are
They
like
just want to buy the
a
game.
buy-
That's
Yeah.
kind of just a different way of purchasing the game, essentially.
yeah. But
Yeah.
it's tough on our part because I don't want to endorse a game unless I know it's going to. See, so traditionally, if I see this level looks great at preview, I think this game could be great.
Yeah.
I like to think there'll be time for if it's not great for that to be caught
Yeah.
and identified and so that
And the difficulty of Kickstarter, of course, is that you can't preview those games until they've been funded and the development work starts, and then later on you could preview it, and then you might find out that it is actually terrible.
Yeah.
and
I mean, in the
it's all
case of
gone.
like FTL, like, you know, you could be like, well, you know, it was great. Hey, I'm right. But you don't know that. Like, you don't know if that's going to be the next one.
Forget where it's Kickstarter made it like any projects on Kickstarter that have been funded have turned out to be horrible and terrible. I can't think of a single instance like
Not-
I could because there's only a few games out there that have successfully.
A lot of them have just.
Gone quiet.
A lot of them were supposed to come out like last year and have all been pushed back because it turns out making games is tough.
Yeah, you need more time. Yeah,
But it's a very. I mean, because it's tough for a lot of the games media. We don't have the. Because it's also new. Like this is as new to us as it is to developers. So and also to consumers and to like people who are just casually interested in it. So like the ways to cover it are difficult. And I'm quite hesitant until that whole first wave has been through the process to see how that plays out.
Yeah, it's going to be this year. There's going to be a rash of those Kickstarter releases.
To see how that plays out before being in a position where I say or before we like. Let that happen, and then I personally think that we should rethink or consider how these things are done because it is. I would hate like people to go, oh, you said this was going to be good, and I spent 40 quid on it, and it turns out to be rubbish. And
but we rarely say as journalists. I never
actually
say
go out and say,
it's good at this stage. That I've only seen screenshots for a video or even just a hands-on with early code. I never go out and say it's
no,
good.
we don't. But that's
Others could.
I've seen articles out on the internet,
Right.
So that's
Invest in this game now. Make it happen.
put those pre-orders down. Like, but
Yeah.
it's a difficult situation that I do spend a lot of time thinking about. So maybe my problem is that I'm this side of the fence, and I spend a lot of time thinking about the best way to do all this stuff. Maybe it's just I'm being indulgent for the sake of because I'm here in this position. But
Because you were writing a feature, weren't you, about the best things on Kickstarter the
So
week,
for a
and
little-
that could be seen as an endorsement, I guess.
Well,
or
I guess a little while it was simply it was this week on Kickstarter, and it
Yeah.
was a pick of some of the interesting things on Kickstarter. So yeah, perhaps you're right. Maybe that could have been seen as an endorsement. I don't know. But,
because you spin it out like anything could be seen as like maybe I've endorsed Pokemon Conquest now.
Exactly.
Like, even though the fact that I didn't even like it that much.
Yeah.
So see, when you keep running this argument out, that the more it expands, the more it encompasses everything.
Yeah.
But
You still have to be able to write stuff.
yeah,
yes. Wow.
don't buy Pokemon Kick.
We have 7 minutes left, people. So
Sorry.
is there anything
Oh, no.
else happening on?
All right.
There's loads of
on
stuff
the
happening.
social
I have
medias or
loads
Twitch
of stuff
or
that I grabbed
anything?
from Twitch.
Okay.
So let's start. Okay, Mr. Al
Quick
White
fire, these.
asks us, would you rather play a game adaptation of Life of Pi, Django Unchained, or Zero Dark 30?
Zero Dark
Oof.
30 came out last year, didn't it? I believe it was Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
Oh.
Warfighter's terrible final.
They
level.
had a
Okay.
map pack that
Oh
was
yeah, I
two.
forgot about the map pack as well.
They had
yeah.
2 levels
I've
for
seen
multiplayer.
none of those films.
They are out. It's because Life of Pi came out at the end of
Yeah.
last year in the UK, and it came out. Django Unchained and Zero Dark 30 came out in the US.
They're all
but
things
they
I
are
want to see.
coming out
but-
here
Life
soon.
of Pi, make it like Journey. There we go.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
I
you'd
think.
have to.
Done.
Zero Dark 30 would be Medal
Rubbish.
of Honor.
Would be rubbish.
And what was the other one? Oh, Django Unchained.
Django Unchained.
That could go
you saw
anywhere.
that, didn't you?
I've seen it. Yeah.
Call of Juarez.
Yeah.
Django.
Call of Juarez.
Cool.
Yes.
Django.
Juarez.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to guess without spoiling the film, what the mini games in that.
Oh,
movie is.
God.
There's quite a lot of people get killed in it in pretty
Surprisingly
horrific ways.
Well, yeah, that would be all the, boss levels of Zero Dark 30 would be torture porn. So
Yeah, yeah.
Fun.
Those are some of the best films I've seen all last
torture
year. Torture porn. Yeah,
I tell you, I've been getting into this torture
Listen,
stuff.
I'm into this torture porn stuff.
Boy.
I can
Pretty
tell.
good.
I can tell you. No, Django Unchained's great.
Cool.
It's hard going though, very hard going.
I want to see that film.
And someone asked, is community service coming back? And related to that, someone said, when is Danny doing his live stream things this week? I don't think community service is coming back for the foreseeable future. Danny this week is going to be kind of testing his format that he's going to be going with for the next little while.
Yeah.
So it's not kind of finalised yet, but
It's like a beta test.
expect many, many live streams
Beta.
from Danny.
Beta, sorry. Damn
essentially.
Americans.
Sidburn19 asks us, how do you guys deal with backlogs? I couldn't make a top 10 for last year because I played less than 10 games that came out in 2012.
Get a really big cardboard box, stick it in your lounge, and just gradually add the games to it, which is what I've done.
Does
I
he
thought the
mean
question
actually
was about
play
how
through
you're
them?
getting through them, not
Yeah.
just like
Yeah,
storing
no,
them.
how do you
That's
get
how
through
I'm
them?
Storage problems.
That's how I'm getting through them.
Really?
Hi, Mark.
They sit by the side of the TV.
Just looking at you like,
looking
play
at me
us,
like,
Mark.
play me, and then it winds me up so much that I put them in the box, and then
Yeah.
I forget about them. That's what happens.
I guess.
So
What's this?
No, just pointing to. I don't know who Minty Rebel is.
I like Minty Rebel.
Minty Rebel saying, "Martin, why did you leave us?" I don't know if this is a jilted lover or a or an ex-employer. I don't know what's going
All
on.
sorts.
Okay, someone else is asking, Mark, when did you first play Final Fantasy?
When?
What was your first one?
The first Final Fantasy I played.
Mine was 7.
Mine was 7. And then I went back and played
The
some of
early
the other
ones.
games after that. But 7 was my first one. And I was probably, I can't remember how old I was, but like 12 or 11 or something like that.
There was a feature that John Davison in the States wrote about 2013, and he said it's the year 2013 is going to be the year when they go back to the Final Fantasy 7 universe or re-release it or
He reckons?
something in the Final Fantasy.
There's
7
been
universe.
rumours of a Final Fantasy 7 HD remake for a
They're not
very
gonna-
long time.
I couldn't see it happening.
I think they have to do it.
I
I think
can't-
that
but
series
you know
is-
the amount of work involved in
I
that.
think the series is now not lost its way, but petered out a little bit, and they need to go back to 7,
They've
which is
got-
so revered.
Well,
you
I
know?
mean, there's still versus 13. There's still hope for that. Okay, like as a thing. Like it's
There's
not.
still hope for that, okay?
Okay.
Come on,
The team
It's
is-
not gone yet.
There's a little bit apologist.
There is still hope
Yeah.
for versus 13. It's not. It's
That's the problem with Final Fantasy now, though. It's got these, hardcore fans who are
Mm.
like, yeah, we're holding out hope for 13. 7 means so much to so many people. It's like
Oh, absolutely.
7. If they wanted to get it back on course, go back to 7.
I mean, you could if you imagine they did this with the PS3, didn't they? They had that Final Fantasy 7 sort of thing they rendered on the PS3 at the launch. But can you imagine if they did it?
I
in
can't remember that actually.
Yeah, they did. It was like a tech demo.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone was
that
like,
looks
"Oh my god,
amazing.
remake!" And they were like, "No, actually, it was guys, come down. It was just a tech demo."
They're like, no.
But I would
Cheers.
love if they trolled them again.
Do you remember
Like,
E3?
PS4, like just amazing.
Do you remember E3 a couple of years ago when Jack Tretton was on stage in the Sony conference and he's like, a brand new Final Fantasy? And everyone was like losing their mind. Yeah. And then at the end of the trailer it goes, Final Fantasy 14. And everyone goes, yeah, online.
Online.
It was the best. Yeah, that series is just on the
Do you play it, Martin? Are you a Final Fantasy fan?
I used to be. Like, I love 12 and I love 10 and 9 and 7 and 6.
Not
and,
8. I
and-
really liked 8, but yeah. fair enough.
But just like 13, I played 13 and I was like, oh no.
I never played 13 too. I just didn't
Yeah.
bother. I sort of got all the way through 13 and did loads of the side quests and did all that stuff. But I just sort of I remember 13 2 came out and I looked at it and went, "Do I really want to
Wanna
do
it
this
again?
What about
You invested a lot
13.3?
of time in 13.
Huh?
What about 13.3?
Oh,
Lightning Returns.
Lightning Returns.
whatever
I
it
just
is.
think I'm just gonna skip
Yay.
it. Wait for versus 13, which will probably be 15 by now, and then
That's the problem with that. I mean, I'm in the games industry. I have a passing interest in Final Fantasy, but the 13 and the offshoots, they lose me. So I don't know what's.
That's the
happening.
thing, I
I don't know
just-
what's happening to the mainstream
just
audience.
make
They
it
must
a
just-
numbered version, like they know. It'll be fine, and there's less of this confusion. Then that's all.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Very
any more?
important question from Acid Jib. Mark, what hairstyling product do you use?
Why?
Yeah, I'd like to know
How
that.
many times have I been asked that?
I'd like to
Because
know.
it's
I
so
never.
pretty.
It's
So it bounces straight back into
Yeah.
shape.
Yeah, it does.
it's
Snaps right
it's
there.
matte paste,
Uh-huh.
but then there's a little bit of hairspray in to
Are
hold
you
it.
intentionally avoiding brand mentions?
Yeah.
here?
Do you not want to
Seems like
give
there
this
are-
away?
Seems like
Okay.
it's got on BBC on
It's
that.
it's VO5,
VO5.
matte paste. It's the one. It's not the one that's really greasy. It's the one in the tube because you want it to be like really matte. Because
Matte
I know
paste.
Seb's laughing.
Okay, I'm bored of hair now. On
Fine.
Facebook.
Is
And
it,
what brand of hairspray? Is that an extra strength
Oh,
hold or?
It's a really
Stop
posh one from
encouraging
Boots.
Is it
him.
one of
Really
those VO5 packs where you get the chance to get a date with an FHM High Street Honey?
It is. Yeah.
You know,
I bought 12 of them the other day.
Nice.
Because I thought I'd stock up and just, you know.
that's a month's supply, isn't it, for you?
Oh dear. All right, enough hair.
beautiful
Across
hair.
on Facebook, Trev MCCC says, "Hi guys, welcome back. Now that we're in 2013, can we get serious with release dates for the next gen consoles?
I'd love to get serious with the
Let's
release
get
date.
serious release dates.
Get serious.
What is in putting our money
Get serious
down?
about them, I think."
Oh, well, there was the rumours of that Sony event.
Yeah,
Whatever happened? Was that
didn't-
actually a real thing?
No, that news story was. I was going to say something nasty. That story was. I didn't
was
believe.
not of-
Yes, it was completely
I
like
didn't-
whole wallet.
sourcing.
I didn't think that story was worth colouring on GameSpot.
No.
So we didn't.
Because it was from the wonderful people over at
expert reviews or something, wasn't it?
the crowdsourced review site.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where it was citing an event that I had no knowledge
Yeah.
about, and that sometimes happens. You know, sometimes invites go out to an event from different international territories, and Europe's last. But yeah, I've no knowledge or recollection of an event for Sony in the next couple of months. Although that's the rumor that they'll announce it this quarter.
Might do an Apple, just like
I
announce
think-
the event a week before.
Or,
Just, you know.
or-
I don't think anyone's going to do an Apple, really, apart from Apple.
Okay, well, you know.
You're right. Microsoft has never announced a console at E3,
No.
and I don't think they'll start. I genuinely don't think they'll start now.
It's a big enough thing to hold their own
Yeah.
event for.
I think they'll show it at E3, but I think you'll get the sizzle announcement, like, you know, the
Yeah,
lifestyle
yeah,
reel
yeah.
of like some dude doing on a skateboard, and then he hits the ramp, and then he flies off the ramp, and he's like going through the air, and then the skateboard turns to an Xbox, right? And then he's sucked into a computer like a Tron. Like, you'll get that, and like celebrities being like, "Oh my god, I'm so excited for Xbox," and you'll get like the name.
Oh, and it would just be like a
Yeah.
highlight of like the outline of the console.
Oh, yeah.
Like
then you'll-
silhouette, you know.
And then you'll be like,
Taking
come
a
back during E3. And then at E3 you'll get some more of the
you
games.
should work in like
I know.
marketing.
I know. I know.
You get big bucks for that with Microsoft. So
That's
we've
what it's
got
going to be now.
got
It's
a
gonna
guy, yeah. Guy in a white t-shirt on a skateboard that turns into an Xbox. If you see that in a few months' time, then
Yeah.
royalty check to Martin,
Yeah.
please.
All right. On Twitter, Oasis Mark asked us, "I got a Wii U over the holes, and I totally love it. Blops on the pad is a game changer for gamer dads. Any
that's
of you
cool.
guys get one?
No.
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 sorry.
I have one at home at the moment that I'm
Yeah.
borrowing that I'm playing Mario on. That's it so far.
We've got an office one in. I'm kind of like in a self-punishment kind of way, kind of interested in playing Ninja Gaiden on it because I missed it last year. I know you warned me off this, Martin,
The
but
famously well received.
famously loved series. Yeah, the addition in that series. It's because 1 and 2 set such a high bar.
We're overrunning.
Sorry,
so
we need
to Alright.
is
go.
there any one last one, and then I'm gonna wrap
Okay,
this bad
Rich
boy
Walker
up.
13 asks, "I want to buy Vita. Do you know if there's a redesign on the way? Because he doesn't want to buy an obsolete one."
Yeah, well, that's always the thing with handheld hardware. Nintendo's more of a problem in this era. There were-
Wow, so how many
Actually, I was going
PSP
to say
revisions
there
were
were
there?
was the 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Then the what was
The Go.
And
And then there was that weird one that never got really released that
the
didn't
weird
have a
one that
UMD.
didn't have a UMD. Yeah,
It was like,
slot.
yeah.
I don't know. I would hold off in general on the Vita. I would say, even though I like the
In
Vita.
total.
Yeah, just it's this year is already so exciting with new technology coming
There's
out.
loads.
that-
I mean, it's
gonna
like
be a-
January, and we've already had like two
new
sort of,
products.
big announcements. All right. Well, thank you
Yeah.
very much for emailing in or twitching in or doing whatever it is.
Twitching?
Twitching in.
Twitching
I don't know how
in.
to say that now.
To Twitch.
To Twitch.
That's a
To
verb.
Twitch.
Thank you for twitching.
Anyway, facebook.com/GameSpot, twitter.com/GameSpot, or twitch.com/GameSpot. Podcast at GameSpot.
Twitch.tv/GameSpot.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, twitch.tv. Or podcast@gamespot.co.uk if you want to email in. And we'll try and read out more of your stuff next week. Time to wrap up the show really quickly. The games come out this week. There's only 4. So Anarchy Reigns, Ninja Gaiden 3, Razor's Edge, what we talked about, and there's only 3 even. Fractured Soul on 3DS.
Two instances of Anarchy Reigns.
360 PS3, which was out in Japan a long time ago. Reviewed.
Yeah, Mark reviewed it. Interestingly, I went to Japan in September, and I remember paying £57 for that game. It is now released here for under 20. I think you get it online for about 17.
Yeah,
So
I just think
you.
anyone that really wanted that probably would have imported it. There's no big market for it.
Sure,
I
we'll
mean,
see how it does.
yeah.
I get the feeling it might not do
Anarchy
that well.
Reigns, the game that was reportedly delayed because Sega wasn't confident that they could sell it in the West, might not sell in the West.
I love the fact that in Japan it was released region free and all in English.
I know, it was in English.
Yeah.
Said it
It
all
was
in
great.
really.
Weird.
I do want to play it. I'm going to play it.
Yeah, play it.
Okay, sorry.
Go nuts. All right, well, thank you very much for joining me, everyone.
Thank you.
Quite all right.
Thank you, and
Yeah.
thank you, Martin. Welcome to the show, and
you.
hopefully we'll see you again next week. To everyone at home and listening on the iTunes, whatever, your iPod, and to everyone on Twitch.
We're there.
Where are we? This one.
This
It's
one.
this one. Okay. Bye. Waving at camera.
How long do we do this?
I don't know. Seb.